And that's it. That's all it is.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, #1 listener-supported radio, the printing press for freedom at a time when freedom is needed the most.
Join me at Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for Free Association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. It's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B at freedomslips.com.
What is going on here? I demand an explanation.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
An intelligence organization that fears intelligence, historically not awesome.
The United States is a democratic nation. Here the people rule. We build no walls to keep them in, nor organize any system of police to keep them mute.
Freedom isn't free at all, but it comes with the highest of costs.
We have you, the listeners, and the hosts at
Revolution Radio,
for allowing us to bring you a platform of free speech.
Right now, it's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines,
clock's run out. Time's up. Wind is blowing cold and dark. On the road and no way out. Broken house, a smoking gun. On the run. On the run.
Fantastic. The other day I got in an argument with my girlfriend, right? She likes watching the Oprah Winfrey show, and I love to watch her watch the Oprah show. And then I wait for Oprah to say something that I don't agree with, and then I take it out on my girlfriend because I'm an asshole. So Oprah brings out this guest. She gives her this huge intro. She's been on this, she's been on that, and she does the most difficult job on the planet. She's a mother. So immediately I look at my girlfriend. I'm like, really? Being a mom is the most difficult job on the planet? How many mothers died on ice road truckers last season? Any moms get washed overboard on Deadliest Catch? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but what would you rather have as a job? You want to scoop scallops off the bottom of the ocean, catching that lobster trap to the back of your head? Or do you want to hang in the sunshine with a couple of rugrats? You'd send them to bed anytime you want and some trumped up charges because you want to have a drink and watch The Price is Right? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is the most difficult job. I mean, I thought roofing in the middle of July as a redhead, you know, I thought that was a difficult job.
Try to remember that in this way together, we still have a lot of time to do. Just remember, we won't be forever.
gentlemen, live from the broken down, low rent, sleazy, double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever Southern.
It's Friday night. It's time for the posers and the wannabes. To get out their notepads. Take some notes. My name's Jimmy. In to the microcosm is on ya.
It's so tired, the social mutation, solving everything at the end of a gun. Can we spill the blood from all this hatred and pass the point of no return? 'Cause I know there's gonna be some changes from the wake of our time. I wanna be there, but maybe in the 21st century. Oh yeah, we can live life like it ought to be.
Let me just say, we got a good one planned for you tonight.
Torn down, convicted and lied to, breeding ignorance to make the same mistakes.
It's a wet, dark, rainy night in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Take a chance and leave it, babe.
Bruce McDonald's here.
We got the means to change the fate of our time. I wanna be there, but maybe in the 21st century. Oh yeah.
Epic Journeyman's here, and apparently Dave Meniketti is here. How you doing, Dave?
21st century. Oh yeah, we can make it better than it used to be in our time.
Epic Journeyman. Are you there?
I am here.
Excellent.
I haven't walked out to sea yet, man. There's some real waves out there this week.
Are there?
Yes, there are.
Watch out, you almost got snapped in half. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, Epic Journeyman. I know you're over there in the islands, you know. I know people say it every day when you walk up to somebody that you're working with or working around, you know. You walk up to him, you go, "Hey, brah, what's your beef?" And he just says to you, "It's another day in paradise, brother. Another day in paradise." Does everybody say it's another day in paradise?
Nah.
No?
No, not really. No. But you know, the thing with the surf, look out. Here, yeah, look out. The waves, man, here, like, it's rained. It wasn't supposed to rain, but it's been raining. So this is great because we need the extra water.
Mm.
But you get this like 2-hour window. Like the waves are spectacular all of a sudden. These people all rushing to try to catch these waves, right? And I at my work, I get to go to the beach, ironically, with a lot of these things because some of our sites are there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because the guys missed that 2-hour window. They come out there in these sets. I'm sure you've seen them there, Jimmy. They come in like, first they're great. They're big, tall waves, you know. And then all of a sudden they're like 2 seconds apart between the sets. Like it's coming really fast. You got to get the F out of the water, right? Next thing you see is the firemen coming in, the lifeguards and all this stuff. And these poor guys don't know what they're doing. are like, oh, I'm gonna go out there. No. Don't go out there, man.
You know what, man?
You're gonna be rescued, man.
You know what?
Don't go out there.
If I lived out there where you are, if I was out there, and I heard there was big waves, you know what I'd be doing? I'd be pulling out my taco truck, and I'd be heading. I'd be heading out with a full load, and I'd make myself about $5,000, and then I'd drive away laughing. You know, having a good
this
time.
isn't the great surfing day kind of thing though, like that. Yeah, it's weird because it's like a couple hour window, you know, where it's just they start peaking. It's good in the morning, you know, in a couple hours, like 2 hours.
All right, listen.
And then all of a sudden it washes out and it's terrible.
He's coming. He's almost here. But listen, I got to ask you this question. One question before we move on to the Bruce McDonald experience. Have you experienced something called the pink moment when you're over on any of the islands? The pink moment. Have you experienced it?
It sounds kind of erotic. I don't know. Maybe I have. I'm not sure.
No, this is in relation to the sun and the refracting.
Oh no, like the green flash kind of thing.
No, this is a pink moment. It's not a green flash. It's different. This is the pink moment. All right. Well, listen. There's a place, a secret magical place in California. Hardly anyone knows about it. It's called Ojai. You ever heard about it? No. See? Well, listen. There's a whole bunch.
I've heard the term.
There's hot springs there. There's all kinds of shit going on there. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is what happens there is something called the pink moment. And there, it happens every day. You can go there when the sun goes down. Pink moment. And if you've ever experienced that, I experienced it again today, but not there in my hometown here in Santa Cruz, California. I experienced a pink moment. And I don't know. Maybe there's significance in the moment. He's here. He's there. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific. He's on the Independent Broadcast Network.
Dark and sticky. All the time it's getting strong. The way you're dealing.
He goes there, ladies and gentlemen.
Can't go on like this too long. This time you've gone too far.
He goes too far. But tonight, from the Talamanca Mountains.
You've gone too far. I told you.
Costa Rica.
This time you've come too far. This time you've come too far. I told you.
From his shaman's cave, Bruce McDonald. Are that?
I'm here, Jimmy.
Excellent. Well, I hope you're bringing your bag of tricks with you tonight.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Having a lot of fun on McDonald in the morning with the live show and the patchboard working and all the sounds and music and starting to get the callers.
Fantastic. It's sounding like an Into the Microcosm episode.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, there you go.
Chat room.
Sounds like a winning formula.
Yeah.
So, what you guys been talking about recently? Because I haven't been listening because I've been slaving to the grind. But had I been listening, is there anything in particular that's been going on this week?
Well, this week I did a show with Doc McCarran. Today we did the 2002 Bin Laden letter that The Guardian had published and then took down, that for some reason Gen Z is all getting into. It's just endless psyops now, right? I mean, they're just throwing everything into the mixer now. People are so confused, they don't know whether to shit or go blind. I mean, I'm actually starting to feel bad for the Israelis. I mean, the average Israeli citizen, not the horrible deep state Zionist government, but just a shit show coming in 2024.
So you
Jimmy.
and Dr. McCarran, huh? Is that going to be the duo in the morning?
No, we just did a show on
just on the Bin Laden thing, just on the Bin Laden.
No. We did it. The show we did was called "Abraham is Not Your Patriarch."
Well, listen, you can find that over on. Where do you have this? Where's the archives for your show available over there?
Everywhere, man. Spreaker, Deezer,
yeah, there
Spotify,
you go. There you go.
Podcast.
Spreaker and
Everywhere.
Spotify. Bruce McDonald in the morning. Check him out. He's live. He's dangerous.
Doc is a super sharp guy, man.
Doc is the sharpest, and he is a sarcastic bastard. I wish he was here right now.
Yeah.
The thing is we don't. A lot of times when
funny as hell.
Yeah, I know. When we do the show, a lot of times we get off into some serious shit, and we don't get a chance to see that side of the Doc. And that was one of the things that was cool about him getting together with Kev Baker, because Kev would go over on Doc's show and get a chance to just hang out with the Doc and be himself, whereas his show was a more structured environment where he couldn't say certain things on YouTube and so on and so forth. So anyways, Dr. Shush, Dr. Kevin McCarran, I said his name. This will probably get banned now. They got a warning light that goes off over at Google whenever you say Dr. Kevin McCarran's name, or if you mention McCarransDojo.com. If you say that, you get in trouble too. But we don't have a problem with it because he's our bro. We just haven't talked to him in a while. All right, so listen, enough is enough. Epic Journeyman, Bruce McDonald, there was an intense movement to take over the internet that's been going on for a bit here, and then apparently it's been swatted down by the FCC. Now, the interesting thing is that this has been going on in the midst of all these other things that are going on. And I think if anyone had gotten wind of it, they would have brought it up and made a stink about it before it was going to go there, just to try to ensure that the end result that did happen happened. But I mean, they took a run at it, but just because they didn't make it this time doesn't mean they're going to, stop the fight or whatever. They're not going to continue to try to, come into this idea. I still, Epic Journeyman and Bruce McDonald, I'm still of the mind that there'll be some sort of shakeup which will cause this need for, number one, positive identification, and number two, in order to get on the new internet that's already sitting there, it's already built. They built this whole other infrastructure around technology that wasn't bought from Chinese companies, because there was a initiative that was going on that was saying we want to have a clean environment, that we don't have to worry about threats from the outside environment of these manufacturers who secretly install chips into products that are sold.
I know what it is.
Go ahead, Epic Journey.
I know what it is. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be geolocation, but not just geolocation like where you're at. It's going to be geotagging your environment. So when you log on to the Quest 3, ironically, I was talking about this in the pre-show to some of the listeners in the chat. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, when you log on to these devices, and so Apple Vision Pro is the big one that's coming out next spring, and the Quest 3 is kind of like Apple Pro, Vision Pro Lite. It does everything it does, but not as good as that's going to do it. And it's going to be eventually brain machine interface and all that stuff. But right now, what you do is it maps your entire environment. It 3D scans your entire environment. So in other words, for somebody to mimic you, they have to have your house. They have to have all your furniture. They have to have all your environment. They have to have everything. That's how they're going to do it. That's how it's going to be. That's how they're going to do it.
Interesting.
So
that's really wild.
You're going to tag different locations and environments. They'll be identified.
Okay,
to you.
so what this does is this rings a bell in my head to a couple of months ago when we did that show about the AI being able to use your wireless router's signal in your house to basically position you precisely in your room.
Like LiDAR, yeah.
Exactly. So just any router in any room could be used to scan that room and literally geoposition the body of the person in the room or the bodies, whoever's in there. So that's interesting, Epic Journeyman. Now, so this may have something to do with not being able to deep fake somebody then, right? So what you're saying is no one's going to be able
to... Yes, positional data, right? So it's 3D space scans. So in other words, it's verifiable because those are real objects. For somebody to mimic you, they have to have those same real objects in that same real space. You have to make a complete mock-up of the environment you already mapped and put in your authenticated spaces.
So it's not like a Tom Clancy game where somebody just knocks you out and shoves your face up
and
against
grabs your eyeball and throws it on.
Yeah, cut your eyeball out and shoves it in
your entire environment, right?
Yeah, interesting.
I can totally see this happening, man. I can. It's becoming increasingly easy, and it's simple in the sense that it knows you moved your chair over and you got stuff out of your way to make the coffee table not be an obstacle, but it still knows the coffee table is supposed to be there. So for somebody to mimic you in your house, they have to have all those objects, and it prompts you if that object's missing or not there. It asks you to remap your room. You know what I mean? Or if there's something else new added, it asks you to remap your room. So
this idea that what you're talking about here, this first concept was used for perimeter intrusion detection in Fallujah, believe it or not. And so what it was there was a series of cameras that were set up in sort of a fashion where they could cover these areas in a circular motion. And they're constantly spinning, taking pictures. And as soon as something changes in that picture, then you get a warning. There's something there that wasn't there before. And
right.
What's really interesting is that was how many years ago was Iraq? So that was that long ago.
20 years ago.
Okay, so now you can buy a camera you can install at your house that you can watch on your phone. And this camera can detect if it's an animal or a person it sees, and it sends you a message on your phone. Now, I know about it because we just got some of those cameras, and I'm getting rid of them. But here's the thing. They have audio. They can listen. You can say something, like if somebody's out in your backyard or something, you say, hey, mother, get out, whatever. I am cocking my shotgun or whatever. Or, you can shine a light or whatever. It's just like a device. And there it is, and it's got electronics in it. So you're just an innocent consumer. You're out there just buying shit because you want to protect what you got, from the vandals and the thieves. You want to protect what you got, but all of a sudden you didn't realize there's a whole other chipset in there going on that you don't know about. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Where do these cameras come from? What's inside of them? Is there any person that's sitting there, Epic Journeyman or Bruce McDonald or ladies and gentlemen across America and around the world? Is there anybody sitting there going through these products? Looking at the circuit board, see what's supposed to be there and why it's there, and looking at it and making sure there's no covert spy technology just installed right there.
That's Tyrell Corporation or what is it, the Montezuma, whatever it was called from Alien or whatever. Good name of it. Yeah. The thing about it is like okay, so everybody's afraid of Meta and rightfully so, and Facebook, and so they have these on these Quest 3s. This is part of the whole thing, the cameras and positional sensor and all that stuff. And you can opt out. You don't have to share your data. But does anyone really believe that that data isn't accessible to somebody there? And of course not, just like your iPhone, right? I mean, exactly. Yeah. It does all that stuff, whether you opt in or not. How you know it? How you know it is when you go back, all that stuff's disabled, right? And the day you enable it 6 months from now, it tells you when you went to the gym and how long you were there 6 months ago. It tells you where you went and how long you spent at your girlfriend's house and all that stuff, right? But you were supposed to be opted out that whole time, so it knows.
Dude, listen, opting out. Here, let me give you an example. It was the moment that I had determined what exactly the hell was going on around here when this whole modem exchange started happening between you and whatever the name of your cable company is. All of a sudden, your modem. All of a sudden, you're having your internet was weird. It was jumpy. It was this. It was that. You call them up, and they go, "Oh well, listen, Bob. See, it's your modem. See, you've got
the little clunker.
We got you the new faster internet. But the thing is your old modem. Well, it just won't pump at that speed." And I said to him, "Okay, well, is there any wireless associated with this new router?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, it's a dual band router, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So at that point, I'd already determined that the 5G wasn't cell phone 5G, that it was 5 gigahertz internet, because it's everywhere at the same frequency instead of cell phones that are everywhere at different frequencies. So I said, "I don't want the 5G on my modem." Okay. She goes, "Well, don't worry, Jimmy, because you can just turn it off. You can just take it out, turn it off." I said, "Oh, I can?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Great. I'll go down there, I exchange my modem, I get my new modem, I come home, I set it up, I call them up, I say, hey, let's turn this 5G, let's take it out." She goes, "Okay, ready?" Boom, it's out. I look, it's not there. Except for she didn't know how to spectrum analyzer in here. And it was still there. So they didn't take it away. They didn't stop it from pumping 5 gigahertz internet out of my modem. That's blasting out of my modem and through my walls, so Joe Blow can jump on that new voice over IP phone he got over at Google. So they built a covert ad hoc network with everybody's 5G cable modems, so people walk around outside with their cell phones on. I opted out for the 5G, but the 5G was still pumping in my house, and still is to this very day. Every time I have to turn my modem on. So it's a dirty job.
It's like it's a good analogy would be, I don't want the fluorescent lights, man. I don't want the fluorescent lights, right? You got the incandescent lights and the fluorescent lights. Okay, we're gonna disable the fluorescent lights, and all it did was take the switch away from you, but the fluorescent lights are still on.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, at this point, you got to smuggle incandescent light bulbs into California. You got to smuggle light bulbs into California right now. You can't get certain light bulbs.
Well, the T12 is supposed to have been gone in 2000. They still make them in Mexico and around the world. It's this whole big, black market. It's not really black market. They sell them at Home Depot, but it's just funny because they're supposed to be banned in 2000, right? It's 23 years later, and we still have these stupid, terrible things floating around, but they're everywhere.
It's absolutely out of control, man. Seriously. The land of the free, home of the brave, I think that generation is gone, or almost gone. I mean, would you still consider it the land of the free, home of the brave? Or were we really just sold a dream, You got sold a dream, and then that dream that you got sold is so powerful, you could be willing to spend the rest of your life on a treadmill, never to get off again, Bruce.
Yeah. A lot of people packing up and leaving, Jimmy. Returning to places like Ecuador, Venezuela, saying it was better back home.
Yeah. I saw that.
South Park did that, yeah. So,
yeah.
What'd you say, Brucer?
Amazing that, they're coming there and
they realize
living in Chicago 6 months and saying, look, the American dream doesn't exist anymore. We're going back home. We were better off. I mean, I could have told them that. If you're in Venezuela and you just have like 2 acres of land, but everything is set up, you got your chicken coop, you got your little casita, you got your pueblo, you got your church. There's just no need to go to the United States. I mean, something is changing, man. Like, I think the human race is going to have to come up with a new reason for existing other than getting rich.
The marketing, it was so powerful that somehow it even trickles down to the penniless paupers in countries you've never heard of. They all want to come there. No, I'm just saying, I mean, the reverberations of the idea of the white picket fence and the whatever, the middle class house with you and your significant other and your children, and, you know, you live out your dream there in the little house and go to your gig every day for the rest. Can you imagine? I mean, is there anybody anywhere anymore who sits there and stays at a job for 30 years so they can retire out? No. What is it, man? For the longest amount of time, what is it? It's a revolving door around dollars and cents. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. How much money are you going to pay me? Oh, this guy's going to pay me more later. And then the thing is when you get to the end of that chain and you come to the realization that no one ever told you, you know, skipping around like that, you're not going to be able to, put some stuff away for yourself later on. So then you start getting a little older, and then all of a sudden you realize you ain't going to be sitting anywhere on a hammock unless you're Epic Journeyman with $300 sunglasses and boat drinks. Boat drinks.
So riddle me this, guys. What is sustaining these housing prices in Canada and the United States? Like, why are the housing prices so high? If nobody's buying, like, where? I don't get it.
I think I kind of figured it out. Well, we're just talking about the carrot. You're always chasing the carrot, and your vision becomes narrowed and focused on the carrot. When you catch the carrot, you realize it's only a carrot. Right? It's not going to feed you for more than a day. It's nothing, right? You've been chasing this whole thing the whole time. And the idea about the spectrum thing kind of ties into this because it's about putting blinders on. You're narrowing your focus. Every time you take something away to focus on something else, you're narrowing your focus. You're blinding yourself to the whole. So the person in Venezuela has or let's take someplace a little less more benign maybe right now, but somewhere down South America has their 2 acres living well in Costa Rica, let's say, for example, and then they're going to look at they see the whole spectrum, but you narrow the spectrum, you eliminate those things, those other parts, and to the point gets to where you're looking at that carrot, you're chasing that carrot. And that carrot becomes your main motivator, whatever it is. It's easily manipulable by the society that controls that society, or the structure in that society that controls it, rather. And then all of a sudden you realize at the end of the game that it's only just a carrot, man.
Well, let me just say this.
That's an old game, isn't it? And it seems to work.
Well, here, let me bring out. You see your carrot, and I raise you one white owl. All right. What about this? BlackRock and all the other people concerned are keeping these prices high. Because like I say, you're free to buy a house, man. You're free to fly. You're free to drive your car. You just have to be able to afford it. So what's happening is, and I think the mentality around this particular idea has already shown itself to be very popular with younger people. And that is, instead of me buying a car, how about I just rent it to drive from here to there? And then you rent it from there to there. And someone else rents it from there to there. That way, I don't got to pay all that wear and tear and monthly car payments and all this shit. I just pay right now. Or what about Uber and all these things? These things all move towards not owning anything. Younger people have been put into this mentality that owning things is like a prison. That you own something, you're gonna sit there and drag around every time you get something. Okay, imagine this: you're walking. You start out, you're just walking, and then all of a sudden you got to get something. You get it, and now you got to drag it behind you. It's like a block, and you got a chain, and there's a block on that chain, and you're going to drag that block because you want that thing. So you're going to put in all that energy and all that effort dragging that fucking block around everywhere. And then all of a sudden you get another block, and another block, and another block. And before you know it, you're dragging like 6 cement blocks on a chain through the dirt just so you can drive your Tahoe and live in that McMansion.
Beast of burden, right?
Yeah. Dude, think about pulling out. Listen, think about this. Think about pulling out of your pocket every single month a giant ass soprano wad and it's in your pocket, sitting there. You can barely put your hand around the thing. It's $100 bills, 20s, man. It's a giant wad in your pocket. And you pull it out.
You got to say, hey, every time you pull
no,
it out,
listen
right?
to me. You pull it out, dude, and throw it on the table because that's your mortgage payment, dude. That's your $3,600 a month.
If you're lucky.
That's your
mortgages
yoke,
are
right?
$500 now.
What happens if you don't pay it? You end up under the bridge, man, under a blue tarp, driving your car back and forth to work like people are doing. People are like living. It's literally like they live. The inflation is high, and people are living in dirt lots under brown and blue tarps, driving their cars and literally going to their jobs, but their job does not pay enough for them to subsist into the environment. It makes me wonder, well, then who owns all this here? Properties that somebody's got to own it. You know, you're going to rent it out to people. You know, it's out of control. People can't afford to buy a house. What are they going to do? They're going to rent. What is BlackRock and all these companies doing? They're buying up these houses at extreme prices because there's high inflation. They don't care. They'll buy them up at any price. Why? Because they know in the future it ain't going to be like it was before. People aren't going to buy houses because houses are, like I said, you're dragging a cement block. They've built a social engineering program specifically to design people without ownership of anything. Why?
Yeah.
Because you want to live you want to live while the green agenda, okay, that is living in a PVC tube with your internet, a common kitchen at $1,500 a month because that's what you get from the government. Because you don't have to own anything. You can just live in that little tiny room or whatever it is for however much it is and have enough money left over to go out and spend on whatever it is. And it ain't going to be meat, and it's not going to be gas, and it's not going to be flying anywhere, and it's not going to be buying any houses.
The people who do that, though, they won't be earning a living. They'll be earning likes in their social media. That's I'm serious. That's what that's going to be the motivating.
Okay.
So the motivator won't be the carrot anymore.
Okay.
The motivator will be the likes you get on your social media.
I've painted a grim picture. I want you to picture a PVC tube that's like a giant sewer pipe. It's like a section of it. Just imagine a tube. That's your little tube. Okay? Epic Journeyman now. We got about 20 minutes left till the top of the hour. I'm living in my PVC tube. Okay? You have the new Quest, don't you?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
If I'm living in my PVC tube, what's the world going to look like to me in my new virtual reality helmet that you got? The headset.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, well, explain it.
Yeah. So we all know about the Vision Pro from Apple coming out next spring, but it's $3,500, right? It's this mixed reality, augmented reality thing where you can put a TV anywhere in your room, and you can interact with stuff in your room, and put augmented reality, animations of things look real, holograms in your room. It'll do that exceedingly well in 8K. But the Quest 3 does this in basically 4K, 2000 by 2000 something resolution, and it's pretty darn good, man. It's pretty darn good. But for things like
what does that go for?
What's that, Bruce?
What does that go for? What's the price?
$500. It's $500.
Bruce, let me ask you a question.
You don't need a PC for it.
Bruce, let me ask
eminently reasonable.
Bruce, let me ask you a personal question. Bruce, I want to ask Bruce a personal question. Epic Journeyman has wanted to, and I concurred a couple years ago. We wanted to do the show in VR, and so not only would we do the show in VR, but other people who have VR could also be in VR with us, and they would see us as though we were in the same room with them. Would you be willing, Bruce McDonald?
Yeah.
To be in VR.
anything's possible once I get this 150 MBS Starlink, man.
All right.
I'm telling you, man. I know you.
They started installation in Costa Rica. I don't know how long I am. I think they're working up from Panama, so I'm close to the Panama border. I could get a call any week now.
Badass.
I got my $500 put aside for the equipment, and it's only about $64 a month for. It's cheaper than the U.S.
Well,
like
listen,
the year the price to market, right?
Somebody contact Elon Musk and tell him I want my money because Bruce is plugging the shit out of this Starlink.
I know. No,
should at least give Bruce the free Starlink.
Yeah.
He's gonna come on here and suck.
I could just film a commercial up here on my my Mac Mini 13, my iPhone 13
Right,
Mini.
you don't got to drop names about your
I could just do a
technology.
commercial up here. I could do like a 5-minute thing and send it to Tesla and show them the Nicaraguan laborers sitting on my sofas here, like 7 or 8 people using internet for the first time in their lives. In the middle of nowhere, in a UNESCO heritage site in the rainforest, and I'm sure those fuckers will make an ad out of me and put it on their website.
Listen to me. If I was a producer, I would buy that in a hot second. I would buy that idea. No, that's a great idea. As a matter of fact, I mean, I'm gonna reach out to Musk and see what he has to say about that. Because really, I mean, anyways.
So it was built for remote locations, right? This is the ultimate remote location. I mean, they just got the electrical poles in here in 2014, 9 years ago.
Who the hell needs electricity when you got internet?
Right. You know, just on your solar, the power of the modem. You know, the thing about it is, it's about how close you are to the array, the array network. Like for us in Hawaii, they built it for us, so it's fantastic. So you might be a little bit off, you know what I mean? You don't know until you get it, but yeah, it's great, man. Like I'm like 60 milliseconds latency most of the time, and no drops. You get a clear view of the sky. It's great, dude. I hope you get the same, man. It's good. And I get like 68 to 90 megabits per second connection speed.
Yeah.
This is the remote access internet show, and we're talking about Elon Musk Starlink.
Don't know. Like this it's a big deal for people, especially down in remote areas where Bruce is.
Dude, it's a big deal. It's a big deal everywhere because when dudes in Nicaragua are getting their money, it's coming from your carbon credits associated with your digital ID. Because you ain't going to Europe anymore unless you're up on the digital tip, man. So what was the name of that thing that they were sending around to scan your eyeball? It's like, scan your eyeball. Come on over. We'll pay you $50 or whatever. And they were going around in all these countries.
I saw that. I forget who was doing that. Yeah.
It was a giant eyeball. No, it was it was an eyeball that they were going around with this eyeball. And then it was like a multi-level marketing program. They were like, well man, we've got a dynamite response in Nicaragua. Let's get the giant eyeball out and get us up some people. And then what you do is you become a distributor of this eyeball. So they give you an eyeball to scan people. And then once you start making
with their trinkets.
Yeah, right? You start making shitloads of money because everybody let me just say, if you're just sitting around somewhere and you got no money and somebody says, hey man, I'll give you $50, you let me scan your eyeball. I mean, you think people in third world countries going to give a shit? No, they're going to scan their eyeball for $50 and then go buy some food. You know what I mean? So they're getting multiple people out there. Once you start scanning, here's the best part. They get a guy in country on the ground with the eyeball. He starts scanning eyeballs, and then he shows up with that same soprano wad I was just talking about a minute ago. He's showing up back at the house with a giant soprano wad every $50 for every eyeball that he scans. He gets $50, man. You know what I mean? Now he's making. Look at that wad. And now all the other villagers, they come up and they go, "Hey Bob, what's going on with Bob? You notice that he had to hire someone just to carry his wallet? That dude's making money. What's he doing? He's selling
because it's mortgage.
Selling eyeball scans.
Carry the wallet. It's pay his mortgage.
Man, dude, I'm telling you right now, if people started making thousands of dollars scanning eyeballs and they made a YouTube video, and they'll go, look, Look at this, man. I was nobody 6 weeks ago. Right now, look at my bank account. Look at this. And then you open these FedEx envelopes, and there's all these fucking piles of $100 bills coming out. You seen this shit? They're just look at it. Look at. They say, listen, give me here's my website. Come on over. I'm gonna show you how to do it for free. Just come on over to my website. You know, you're going to get a video. I'm going to show you how to scan eyeballs and make $50 a pop. Like it's nothing. You know what I mean? And people would do it because they would be making that money, right? Who would not do that? Would you not do that? Scan an eyeball? You're sitting over there in the dirt in front of your shack, you know, looking at the flat tire on your bicycle.
All of a sudden, you got Starlink down at the library.
And then some dude comes walking up. Some dude comes walking up and looks at you. You're sitting there with the dirty face. You got two dirty-faced kids standing in the door with half bowls of rice. Some dude comes
up. One's wearing the 2 barrels of water over his shoulders on a stick. Yeah.
Some dude comes up and goes, "Hey, you want to make $50 an eyeball?" Who's not going to do that, man? And then you got all these street people doing it, and then pretty soon you got this whole thing of eyeball scanning, and then the next thing you know, scanning eyeballs no big deal. Shit, you scan an eyeball for a burger down at Burger King. Hey, we'll give you a free cheeseburger if you sign up to our app and let us scan your wall. You know what I'm saying?
Next thing you know, please, sir, can I scan your eyeball?
It's all too much, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it. Well, I shouldn't say don't do it because deep in my heart I know that's an empty request because there's not going to be any way around it. In the future, there will be no way around positive ID. If you don't want positive ID, you will not exist in society. And that it basically technically is you will not buy or sell without it. But it's not like that. You don't have to have a chip in your arm or all this shit. What it is if you're not on the system, if you don't have a positive identification, well, you're not going to be able to participate. You're going to have to be what Bruce McDonald, one of his favorite places to go is the black market, because in times of disruption and flow of goods and services, the black market always seems to be moving forward in whatever means of paying for stuff is being done. That's how it's done. That's
what I bought. You know what I bought this week, Jimmy? I haven't picked it up yet, but I just secured it.
Ham radio equipment.
I bought a pig. It's a big thing to buy a pig at Christmas here. It's like $200 for a 100-kilogram pig, and I'm vegetarian again now for well over a year.
I don't dig on swine, man.
But
Bruce is frozen. Bruce is frozen in time.
Roast. Pueblo gets.
Oh, I know. And then you got the feast where they all come up the mountain and eat at the Godfather's table. He provides a pig for the feast. What do you do? Wrap it in banana leaves?
What they call here, Jimmy?
What's that?
Don Bruce.
They call you Don Bruce?
Don Bruce.
It doesn't surprise me. And guess what? You don't where you're living. You own where you live, so there ain't no when you got a soprano wad for banging the keyboards day and night, technical writing.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw it down on the table. You just put it right there in your sock or whatever.
Every dollar I make now is like 80 cents of every dollar I make now is disposable. Like maybe 90 cents actually. And 10 cents of every dollar just goes to bills, and like grocery store, internet, and
I think you ought to hire. I think you're getting to the point where you got so much disposable income. It's time to hire some brothers with Uzis to put on the outer skirts of your property. What I mean?
I already got that covered. So John Z's coming here to live in January. So he's gonna. So it's my third. That'll be my third pit bull.
Man, these pit bulls got out and literally tore some lady's leg off.
Oh, we talked about last week. Yeah. Talking about pounding the keys. The Quest 3, to hit harping on that a little bit. And it's going to do it on that Macintosh, I'm sure, too, with the Apple Pro.
Listen.
But it looks at your hands. Do everything by your hands, right? If you want to, for control.
Uh-huh.
And you can overlay your existing keyboard or just throw a keyboard out on your table.
Uh-huh.
It'll teach you how to play piano. You'll play piano, dude. Like, you can just play it on your coffee table. It's freaking fantastic.
Jesus.
I'm telling you.
Joseph and
you
Mary.
need to do this.
It's absolutely
Bruce,
out of
you
control.
join
Well,
us,
listen, I'm going to tell you right now.
18 people can join our room right now. I can host
tell
a
you-
room with 18 people right now.
Listen.
We can simulcast it.
I'll tell you right now. Epic Journeyman sent me a headset. And I was in there, man, for a bit. I swam with the sharks. I hiked in the Grand Canyon. I boxed. I killed zombies. But the thing that really hit me of how cool it was, there was two things. First of all, there seems to be headroom that doesn't exist. So in other words, when I'm sitting there, if I was sitting in a cardboard box, it would seem like I was sitting under a 50-foot geodesic dome in the mountains with glass ceiling and northern lights going on in the sky, and I could see out everywhere where there's other geodesic domes that look just like mine. So when I went to YouTube, like I would normally do, go to YouTube, watch a video, instead of it being like what I see on my screen, where it's like a flat page and there's the video screen or whatever. This, now I'm sitting in a round theater, okay? And I'm sitting there in front of a giant ass movie screen. So when you watch a YouTube video, it looks like you're in a movie theater, like an actual movie theater. And I would even say the Century 21 movie theaters where there are geodesic domes that you're in. So there's quite a bit of headroom, but for me there was, I'd have to say there was still some cartoonish stuff going on that wasn't quite reality. Epic Journeyman, it wasn't reality quality, I would say, but it was very close. In other words, the simulation was enough that you would forgive any of the anomalies that I'm talking about, but it was very close to reality. What is the new gear like? Because
so the difference is, like, if you have a high enough end PC or processing power you can hook it to, you can do things like Digital Combat Simulator, which is like a real fighter plane, and it's freaking, you're taking off an aircraft carrier, and it's freaking badass, and it looks totally real, right? That's a whole other level. But something like the Quest 3, the processing power, just like the Quest I sent you, it's the original Quest. It's all in the headset, so that was like basically the power of a cell phone, maybe a little bit better than a regular cell phone, but pretty much there. This one's double that, right, on the Quest 3, but it also has this AR capability where the augmented reality thing comes in, where you can actually, it has a depth sensor, color cameras. You look at your environment, you interact with things inside if you want to, and all these holograms show up in your space. It's freaking badass.
Listen, really I'm telling you right now. The thing is, I don't think their timing was just right, because they tried to make it happen during the pandemic, where it would have been very easy for people to fall into the right. So they wanted to use that particular time period when everyone was sitting at home to take and get people addicted to this technology that we're talking about with this VR. But they weren't right on time. And what happened was, and you can see there was a big loss in the meta situation, because people didn't migrate into it and get addicted to it, because there is an addictive nature to it. Is it not cool enough, Epic, that you sit there in it and just hang out in it?
You lose all track of time. Yeah, you do. A good experience, you'll be in there for hours. And if you have a comfortable headset, or you set it up, even a bad one, you can set it up with comfort kits or whatever to make it more comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll forget all about it, And next thing you know, your night's gone, your day's gone. Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, just remember, man. Down, boy. Down. Uh-oh, that's why he came out. It's almost time for the break. All right, well, mine's Jimmy. It's Into the Microcosm. I'm here with Bruce McDonald, Epic Journeyman. The time for red herrings is over. We're going to move into the salmon next hour. So stick around. Don't lose sight of reality if you can help it. It's time to get small. Let your hair down. Like I said earlier, we're here Friday night as usual. And honestly, I just feel I'm feeling like this. I'm going this way on the way out because it's one of those days, every journeyman, where you just gotta say, "What the F?" WTF. But, you know, one of the things I want to say in the Microcosm of Jimmy Jean on YouTube, the title of this show is, if the only tool in your bag is a hammer and everything is a nail. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Stick around. Tune in. Turn on and find out. freeworld.fm. Revolution Radio. It's the independent broadcast network.
Trucking, got my chips cashed in. Keep trucking like the Doodah Man. Together, more or less in line. Just keep trucking on.
And no, we're not getting advertising money from Quest. So don't send me any emails.
Definitely not.
Arrows of neon and flashing marquees out on Main Street. Chicago, New York, Detroit, and it's all on the same street. A typical city involved in a typical daydream. Hang it up and see what tomorrow brings. Dallas got a soft machine. Houston, too close to New Orleans. New York got the ways and means and just won't let you be.
Revolution Radio.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
The Secret Kindergarten is here for the young children of the world. The best program on the radio for kids. Dealing with the most important topics in the whole universe. Fairy tales, music and movement, numbers, plants, animals, fun, colors, insects. Take care and cast your ears out to catch a story from the world of other young things. Reach out, up, under, and over. sing a song, talk about feelings. Just remember the magic word. The magic word is no! Step on into the secret kindergarten. Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Revolution Radio.
Check in every Thursday night for the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show. Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at the #1 listener-supported radio station, Revolution Radio.
Join me at Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for Free Association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. It's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B at freedomslips.com.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
All right, let's show them what we got now.
All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
It's Revolution Radio, fully listener supported. Come on down. Be a supporter. It's freeworld.fm. It's the independent broadcast network. Mine's Jimmy. It's in the microcosm, hour number 2. Sad but true. Epic Journeyman's here. Bruce McDonald. You're here. I'm here. We're all here. Gang's all here. Hey, man. Let me ask you a question. Have you heard about it? Let me just say, a couple days after this rally problem started, the show came on because we hadn't been on until that couple days after things started. And we came on here and we told you about the natural gas in Gaza. Now here it is 3 weeks later and people are doing shows about it. So just want to say, people that want the good shit, they know what show to come to. So earlier this week, I got wind of something over on the internet, and I heard about something over on 4chan. And over on 4chan, there was a revelation of the method that was dropped over there.
Communist insurgents over there, Jimmy.
Is it? Well, I don't go over there. I'm reporting on somebody reporting on something. So I'm third generation rumoring this bad boy. But here, this is how I discovered it anyway. So I saw someone post something about something that had been deleted over on 4chan. And it was something called Operation Catastrophe. And so I didn't click on it, man. I didn't go look at it. And because I didn't really want to get involved. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in that algorithmic safety net there. So I didn't go look at it. But then after a couple days had gone by, it appeared again, but now it was in normal sources, normal veins of people's flow of information gathering. So nothing out of the ordinary, nothing to make me look weird. And so I'm going to talk about it. I'm not saying anything about it other than it's something that's being reported. It's being reported that there was something called Operation Catastrophe, and you can find this over on X, on Screwpulas. X, Screwpulas. SCREWPULAS. So it says, breaking. Operation Catastrophe is a 15 U.S. city attack to be blamed on Hamas. Today I received information claiming Operation Catastrophe is a plan for a 15 U.S. city attack false flagged by Hamas to trigger controlled economic collapse and a complete lengthy internet outage and war. 15 plus cities allegedly were targeted. Airports, subways, stations, banks will allegedly be hit. The unverified source claims the following cities are allegedly among the targets, but this list has not been verified. Washington, D.C., San Francisco, California, Santa Clara, California, Los Angeles, California, San Diego, California, Arlington, Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia, Dallas, Texas, major Florida cities, Boston, Massachusetts, Philadelphia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Denver, Colorado, Chicago, Illinois, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Seattle, Washington, Tucson, Arizona, and Phoenix, Arizona. So, it's a pretty interesting story, the validity of which I cannot verify. But I'm just saying, from a perspective, what we were speaking about a little bit earlier when I said, you know, maybe something comes up and they got to know who everybody is all of a sudden. All of a sudden, all these people that don't have any necessary identification, everybody's going to have to show up and identify themselves because for some reason. Now, this potential idea of this Operation Catastrophe, and right off the bat, it doesn't sound Epic Journeyman. When they come up with a name for a military operation, that name is just generated by a computer, is it not? The secret name of an operation. It's never a secret name of an operation is never the result of the operation, is it? It's always something that doesn't. There's no way you can tell when it's going to be. It's a catastrophe. Operation Catastrophe. Go ahead. Is it like that when you secret name for your operation?
Sorry, I had the mic muted. Yeah, when I got out of the military and I was working at the Crypto Vault for a while there in San Diego, putting motion sensors and vibration sensors, stuff like that. They had the crypto keys for everything. Mm-hmm. You had to talk to a lot of the guys who made those codes, and they didn't tell you all the secrets, of course. No. That would get in trouble, right?
Of course.
But I mean, one of the things you find out is like a lot of these things are just strictly randomized dice roll kind of things. Like, in other words, that name is just out there, you know. Like, so we just made a comment, Roller Disco Night, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. That'd be the name of an operation. Operation Roller Disco Night.
Right.
That's just what would come up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the operation at all.
No.
That's just what it is.
Okay, so we don't know if this is valid, but I'm just saying that's what my hackles go up immediately right off the bat by the title. Okay, so let me just say the title in and of itself. If you're a person who's scanning the world for information that may be potentially something that you'd want to share with others, that title right there in and of itself would make quite a few people click on it and go to it, wouldn't it? Operation Catastrophe. Because everyone's looking for catastrophe.
Real, dude. No, nobody would name an operation that. Nobody. No. That's not in the. It's not there in the vault right now.
No.
because it's obviously fake just because it's such a click getter, right? If it's there and it's named that way, it's because they want people to click on it, which means that's the operation. That's the operation.
That's the
It's people who
collective.
click on it. To find the people who click on it, identify those people. That's the operation.
Exactly.
That would be Operation Basket Case or something like that, right?
Exactly.
That's what that would be. That's the actual name of the operation.
It's like
You wouldn't know about it.
It's Operation Flypaper. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like it's like when Kanye West, when he rolled out and started saying all this stuff about Jews and stuff. He rolled out. He was at the forefront of what they're saying now is this dramatic increase in anti-Semitic behavior.
Yeah.
But the thing people don't realize is that what he was he is a perfect example of, over the years, what we've tried to show you on this show about how information is gathered and how people get things over the top of somebody that they want to make decisions for them in the direction that goes for them. So the way we blackmail people is to get them on tape saying something or doing something that they'd be embarrassed about. And so one of the ways that they've done that throughout the history of the media is to use these celebrities in particular as flypaper operations. So the celebrity themselves are drawing in these people who then are, epic journeymen. They draw people in and they, implant whatever it is that they're going to put forward into these people from what they learn from these individuals that show up. And they want to be your friend, hey Sinatra, I want to be your friend. Here, I got this information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn too, or whatever. Yeah. I was from Brooklyn, but you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
No, but I mean, it's just that's the way these flypaper operations work. So in particular instance, the Kanye West flypaper operation was to draw out all the people that were gonna support what he was saying. To draw them, right?
100%.
To draw them out. He trolled them out. Now what's going on? He's coming back now. All of a sudden, he's been gone for a few minutes. Now he's back. It's okay. He's okay now. Isn't that kind of Isn't that kind of weird? All of a sudden,
I haven't seen anything. He is coming back.
He's coming back.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he did say a lot of that shit with a black sack over his face. He might not have really been him. It might have been somebody else saying it.
This is an excellent opportunity to bring up a little bit of a footnote on the Jews, which is a topic I've talked about quite a bit over the last 5 years or so. And it's important to point out that Jewish people are really not part of this. I mean, whatever it is we call the Jews, it's something else. Just like whatever it is that's running Britain is not the British people. Israel has one of the highest incidences of myocarditis and vaccine injury in the world.
Hey, man!
Because
don't make me bring out the dogs. Hey,
I quote a Pfizer. Oh shit! Sorry.
Don't make me bring out the dogs, man.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah. But anyways, they basically volunteered over there to be a lab for this
No,
product.
they didn't, man. What they did was they had Netanyahu, okay, and it's the same business deal that Trump got. They all got commission by how many people would stick out their arm on that. They got commission, man. And Netanyahu took off. After Netanyahu made all that money, where'd he go? He disappeared for a while, didn't he? He got thrown out of there, and some other guy came in there.
He's under indictment, yeah, for corruption. Yeah.
And then what happened? Now all of a sudden he's back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here he comes. So man, it's a commission situation. And when you say that if you pumped, I'm not saying there's anything weird. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory. What I'm saying is, if I make something, okay, if I make a Michelle Pfeiffer, if I make one, and I say, hey, listen, here's my Michelle Pfeiffer. That guy over there's got a Michelle Pfeiffer, and so does that guy. But here's mine. If you use mine, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you $100 per arm. Michelle Pfeiffer, $100 per arm. How about that?
It's on the arm. It's on the arm.
You're on.
I just keep thinking of Marlon Brando every time you say something like
You're
that.
on the arm. You're on the
Like
arm.
a diamond between the eyes.
The man. You're on the arm. Remember that Sinatra movie, Man with the Golden Arm? Let me just tell you, if you've never seen, here, it's the end of the microcosm Friday night movie recommendation. If you've never
places with that.
If you've never seen Man with the Golden Arm, ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend you watch it. Epic Journeyman, Sinatra, Man with the Golden Arm. Are you there? You're muted, man. You're muted, man.
No, I'm muted. I was
There
trying
you
to
go.
dig up some
Yeah.
video or something.
Man with the golden. No, I'm saying Man with the Golden Arm. Have you seen it?
Long time ago. The thing about this is like how he kept getting cast in these roles, like it tied into real life conspiracies, like how he ended up, in that and the Manchurian Candidate, and how he ended up with these things that had real life play. He was just. It's very strange.
I know he's just a crooner from somewhere.
Right.
New York. Was he from New York, Bruce? He's a crooner. Bruce is now. Bruce is.
I think it was from Brooklyn.
Now Bruce is muted.
Uh-oh.
Now Bruce is muted. He's leaning back, having a sip of coffee. He was a crooner from New York. Go ahead, Epic Journeyman. But Sinatra, man, I mean,
I think Jersey.
Was he from Jersey?
Is it Jersey? I was going to look up because it's one of those things that's bothering me because there's this whole Jersey connection. I'm sorry, there's a Jersey connection and there's a Brooklyn connection.
Well,
the Brooklyn connection is all these. We're talking about people of Jewish descent before.
Think of what it takes.
The religious connection, and they're from Brooklyn, and then there's this other one. And then there's the whole Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer connection of all the people who starred with them in the movies who weren't even from in the movies they made necessarily, right? But they had their connections there. So that goes back a bit, but it's pretty interesting, man, how they're all connected.
Well, that Sinatra operation was a microcosm of the total operation. So you have the Sinatra, then you had the Sammy Davis Jr. connection.
And
Sammy Davis.
The Rat Pack, the whole Rat Pack is connected to this breakaway from the mind control that was going on, and not just mind control, but actual indentured servitude, not even indentured. They were sold into slavery at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and those people were trying to break away, the contract girls, right? And they started the Rat Pack, right? And the girls are the ones who started it, and then it became the guys who we know the faces of now later on. But it was really Judy Garland and those people, right? Initially,
and
who went all the way back to the boss.
Kane West was telling the truth.
It's an amazing story, and this ties in. You were asking me before about my Truman Capote thing. This is how I got into it, was because of this, and it's like because he ended up knowing all these people, and they all because they trusted him, right? They told him their stories, and he was part of that. And Frank Sinatra hated his guts. This whole thing about him and Frank Sinatra, and how because he was living with what's her face Gloria Vanderbilt. At the time, he was staying at her place with the two
Anderson
sons,
Cooper,
right?
Anderson Cooper's mom.
Son, all the way back to when Frank Sinatra was dating her, right? And he was hanging out at the house in like the bungalow out back, and we fell out of favor with the Swans in Manhattan, which is these girls who were these women who were married to rich executives and stuff, and living the life, so to speak. And he got to hear all their gossip. And so he was writing this like book outside of their venue and ability to look at Gloria Vanderbilt's place when Frank Sinatra's come around. I still tell you, man, Anderson Cooper has to be Frank Sinatra's son. Has to be.
You know what, man?
Look at him.
That's what I was. When you were just saying, that's what I was thinking. Frank just went over there.
Has to be, man.
Frank,
blue eyes. Look at him. Look at him. Look at the hair. Look at the eyes. The whole thing.
Frank went over there and made a deposit. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Well, definitely. Because she was married to this guy who was a screenwriter, and she might have been his beard, so to speak. That was a word they used back then for gay people who married people, or had a girlfriend that wasn't with a girlfriend, like Rock Hudson before Rock Hudson came out, and that kind of thing. And yeah, absolutely. There's just too much resemblance there. There really is.
Well,
it's obvious.
It's a dark world down
I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent here, but it got me sidetracked. But the whole idea of this thing with the Man with the Golden Arms, 1955. So it's before Manchurian Candidate. I'm sorry, I had to cheat and look at it a little bit because it's been years since I've seen it.
He does a really. I swear, did he even win? He might have won an Academy Award for that thing, because I'll tell you right now, he does a really, really excellent. He was an excellent actor. I don't know how he got over there to be a crooner. I was thinking about that. Can you imagine? Think about it. About it. It's like you're standing around. And
he was nominated for Best Actor. He was nominated.
Was he?
He didn't win. Yeah.
Well, listen. Yep. Imagine getting up there in front of a bunch of white tablecloth tables, a bunch of people sitting there with cocktails, and you're just one dude. You just come out there in your suit or whatever, and just start singing with your microphone or whatever, moving around, just singing to people. People just sat there just listening. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Just one guy with a microphone, just like, how does that even, how do you be inspired to become a Sinatra-like character? It's like, what was he doing one day? He's just singing, and somebody said, hey man, you're a pretty good singer. You ever thought...
Him and Frankie Valli have a very similar path.
My mom knows Frankie Valli, or knew.
Yeah, they're very similar career path. I mean, mobsters picked him out to be their, tenor singer.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't really tenor per se. He had a better range than just tenor, but yeah, and at the time, both skinny kids, to the point it was a joke back in the old Looney Tunes cartoons, right, with Frank Sinatra, where he disappeared behind the microphone, right, he was singing.
Well, it's just funny, the whole idea of the Rat Pack. Dean Martin.
Oh, the whole thing, and it was girls who started it. I mean, it was what's her face? Frank Sinatra's wife. I'm not Frank Sinatra's wife. I'm sorry. Humphrey Bogart's wife. Can't think of her name right now. I'm blanking.
Lauren Bacall.
Lauren Bacall and Judy Garland started the Rat Pack.
Whistle, man.
Just, well, because they grew up. They were going to school together in MGM Studios. They were sold basically in slavery.
Who owns MGM? Who owns
along with Elizabeth Taylor. So Elizabeth Taylor.
Who owns MGM?
Those three. Yeah.
Bruce, who owns MGM? Is it the Jews? Is it the Jews?
I don't know.
It's the Jews, isn't it?
It's just the.
Metro Golden Mayor.
Jewish gentlemen on the board of directors, Jimmy.
There you go.
I don't know about Jews.
I know. That's what I mean.
Right.
That's what I mean. But you can.
That read something good, right?
If I show you a picture of a puppy enough times and call it a cat, how long will it be before you start calling it a cat? Not too long. That's what I mean.
Jocks?
Yeah, everybody falls under that one label, don't they? It's a trip too, because I mean, I don't know. Do you know what the demographic is in Israel? To the religious people that are there. In relation to the total population, I don't think the Jews per se are even in the majority there. They didn't used to be. I don't know if they are now. But what I was curious about, and I was going to ask you guys a quick question, and I don't mean, when I say the Jews, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying it as a word. But what I was curious about, can you be in the IDF if you're not Jewish? In other words, if you're an Israeli citizen and you're not Jewish, you're Muslim, but could you still be in the IDF?
Yes. If you're an Israeli citizen, you have to serve 2 years in the military. Yep.
So no matter what, no matter if you're Jewish or if you're Muslim, if you're living in Israel and your passport says Israel, you got to fight in the IDF, right?
If they call you, yeah. And you have to serve your time no matter what. If they call you back when you're on reserve, you have to fight. And they were talking, when this first happened, like the day after, on October 8th, they were talking to a Muslim guy who got called back. He was cool about it. He wasn't like, pissed off.
Well, let me say this. Like, are any of the Muslim countries, talking about any of the Muslims that are in the IDF partaking in whatever's going on over there? Because, I mean...
No, I haven't heard that. And you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because... And they haven't played it the other way around either, other than that one time I saw it like on a regular news program, man in the field, woman in the field, interviewing people. They're interviewing this guy who's Muslim, but he has to do his duty, he called in. So, and a lot of people, I guess, like most of us over here don't understand like how small that place is. We really should, but, and how people from all over the world come there and then leave. They go back to America. They go back to wherever they came from, Indonesia or someplace. Next thing you know, they get called up. They got to go because they're an Israeli citizen.
Well,
right?
so far. Okay, listen. We've pointed this out before, so I'm going to point it out again in case there might be some new listeners. They don't show protests on TV unless they want you to go there. If they don't want you to go there, they'll show the end of the protest with some dude in a rainbow afro holding a sign.
With zip ties on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. When there's something they want you to go protest, they show it constantly on the news because they make you sit there and go, you know what, man, I'm going down there. I'm going down there. F this. That's how they get crowds to show up at this shit. I mean, it's plain as a nose on your face, but, everybody doesn't have a nose on their face, I guess. Maybe somebody does, and I don't know. But
I was going to make a terrible joke unless they're Jewish. But anyway, so, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right. Calm down.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, now you bring up something interesting because flash mobs got started this way. It was kind of cool in a way, right? Like, how do they organize these flash mobs on social media, right? How do they do this? And they show up on a street corner, somebody do all this stuff, right? And now it's flash mobs are done through propaganda in such a way that they, manifest a demonstration wherever they want in 5 minutes,
Dude, you want to talk about flash mobs? Listen to this shit. I see a video of it was like a FedEx truck in Tennessee pulls up to a stoplight, and these dudes jump on the back of the truck, open the back door, and literally 40 people literally loot this truck, man. It's a Mad Max, Jack. I swear to God. And it's happening all the time. And what's really funny about it is that they're saying that a lot of these actions that are happening, especially around in urban areas, they're saying that a lot of the moves that are being done are moves that you can find right inside of a video game, Epic Journeyman and Bruce McDonald. You know, they're saying Grand Theft Auto is training a new generation of thug. And they're pulling these moves, man, and it's organized. Think about it. Think about this.
Yeah.
Let me call your attention. This has been going, let me just say, hijacking trucks has been going on as long as there's been trucks. It's even been going on since Wells Fargo, since there was wagon trains, But anyways, the point is, remember back in the movie Goodfellas when Joe Pesci and homeboy steal that truck, and they steal the truck, and then the guy gets on the payphone and goes, "Hey, a couple of black guys just stole my truck."
Yeah.
The whole thing was set up to begin with. It's like, say you're a driver, you're just some Amazon driver, you got some $17 an hour job, and you go over to the Rolex store and pick up a bunch of watches.
Boxes of
I'm just saying, you're picking up a bunch of watches. You just call down and just go, "Hey man, hey Bob, this is me, Jimmy. I just got out of the thing picking up a big giant box of Rolexes." "Yeah, that's right. Yeah, here's my beacon. Go ahead and follow me here." And they just show up, man. They just pull up just like Grand Theft Auto. They pull some car they just stole in front of you. And then next thing you know, oh man, those Rolexes, I don't know. I was scared for my life, I swear. They stole the Rolexes. I don't know. Where'd I get this Rolex? Oh, my grandma got it for me. Back in World War II. Now, go ahead, Bruce. Mad Max is only just barely just, I can almost see it in the distance. It doesn't look like the white picket fence. It looks like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And the killing's nonstop.
Man,
killing's nonstop in Grand Theft Auto. You can just kill. And then go ahead. Kill and beat. Go ahead.
I did a segment on one of my shows this week, a 25-minute segment on Vancouver, where they have legalized all drugs in like a certain section of the city. But they didn't do it the same way that Portugal and Germany did it. In Portugal and Germany, they have the right to involuntarily apprehend you for medical treatment if you get flagged. like if you OD once or twice, they'll throw you into rehab, right? They're not doing that in Vancouver. And I don't know what's going on the West Coast, man, but they seem to be scrapping the whole West Coast from California all the way up to British Columbia. And I can't help but think that it's deliberate.
Why is Gavin Newsom so far up Xi Jinping's ass? He's over there shooting baskets and spanking kids. Do you see that where he's shooting baskets and he spanked that kid? And then he came back and he was over here and he was over there talking in San Francisco. Like he's like, like what has he done for California exactly? I mean, I'm not real sure. Other than be Nancy, listen, he is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. That's what he did in California, man.
No, I'm telling you right now, they're going to have a common woman. Is that true? I don't know. I haven't heard that before, but is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because the thing that I'm finding in my research is not complete, but I've been doing it for years, and I keep just making notes. Right, is all these women, all these powerful people share, and the fact that Kimberly Guilfoyle went to Don Jr. after Gavin Newsom, and the fact that Rupert Murdoch had a whole triumvirate of people shared by Putin and Mick Jagger and everybody else, right? The actual Chinese spy, Wendy Dang, whatever her name is, and then I guarantee you they have a woman in common. I guarantee you they do. And I keep calling the episode I'm going to make. It's going to be called "The Witches." Man, I can't think of a better name for it. I don't know if they're really witches, but there's something about these women they share. And I guarantee you, there's something I haven't looked yet.
They belong to the coven.
I have an inkling. I have my spidey sense. There's something about she and him.
They all belong to the coven that supplies information back to the beast, man.
I don't. Yeah, something weird, man. There's something. That's why Gavin Newsom, I can never support him for president because he had some of the Guilfoyle, man.
Even though he's got that.
What the F is that about?
He's got the look. Here's the ticket, man.
He's got the look, definitely.
Here,
he'd win on charisma.
Here, let me tell you here's the dream ticket right here for the Democrats. You ready? Michelle Obama, president. Gavin Newsom, vice president.
I could see it. It could happen.
That's all I have to say. Hey, listen, I want to introduce you to a new segment. It's called the Bob Marley Moment on Into the Microcosm.
Yeah, man.
Work every time. So we better get up, stand up for your rights. Or someone would say we're coming in from the cold. Or another one would say sun is shining and the weather is sweet. And someone would say is this love. And everyone would say everything. Let's move it.
It's Revolution Radio. It's freeworld.fm. It's the independent broadcast network. It's Bob Marley meets Billy Idol. This has been your Bob Marley moment on Into the Microcosm. That kicks ass. It's too bad Bob and Bill can't get together.
Oh, that was great, man. I really enjoyed that. You know, for our listeners out there, I have to share this with you. For all you Dr. Seuss fans who ever read Dr. Seuss books, there's a book you probably stumbled across called Marvin K. Mooney. Marvin K. Mooney. And if you read that book, To Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2, you know, we don't need no education, and you read the lyrics, read the book, Marvin K. Mooney, it fits perfectly. 100% perfectly.
Down boy. Now, be careful.
Just stepping out of the shower here.
You got to watch out, man. He doesn't like red herrings. I don't know.
That's not a red herring. You guys will enjoy that. We'll do it on a show sometime. I won't sing it. But
Yeah, no.
it's good.
I mean, you got to do it. Record it. And
you know what else works is you have to do 2 Dr. Seuss books work with that. The other one is what do you call it? Green Eggs and Ham. In fact, Green Eggs and Ham works best right out of the box.
Green Acres is the place to be.
You went out there for a second on my end, Epic. What were you saying?
That's probably good. I was talking about how Green Eggs and Ham works with Pink Floyd and Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. I said Marvin K. Mooney as well, but actually Green Eggs and Ham is the one everybody can relate to because they probably know it by heart in their head right now. And if you just hum it in your head and you sing that song, it's a callback to the whole thing with Billy Idol and
he hates red herring, man. I keep telling you, watch out.
Yeah,
watch out. He hates it.
Well,
you got to watch out.
That was a cool song.
Listen,
I like that. I like that.
Bruce McDonald. Are we going to open up the phone lines? Because I know people are itching to call in. And last week, we had a caller. I think, I'm trying to remember. I think it was like, it was something, no, it wasn't anonymous. It was something. Anyways, someone called and asked you a question. And Trish was on the line. And they were asking you a question. I don't remember what they asked you precisely, but maybe they'll call in tonight. You want to give out the number?
It's 864-810-1039. 864-810-1039.
864-810-1039. Give us a call. Join the conversation. Come on down to the Green Acres.
Is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Down boy. He doesn't like that he doesn't like that dude character on there. The guy with the husband. That guy, he doesn't like him, man. That guy's got an attitude, doesn't he? I hated that guy. What was that guy's name? That actor that played the husband in there? Because I mean, Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Eddie Arnold.
Eddie Arnold. Yeah, I didn't like that guy.
I liked him in this movie he did with the '80s Syndicate with Judge Reinhold and also Hard something.
Judge Reinhold.
Oh, it was freaking great, man. That was a good movie. That was a great movie. Head Office. 80s movie. It had Danny DeVito, Judge Reinhold, and Eddie Arnold. And Eddie Arnold was the CEO of this company. Judge Reinhold was junior executive. And
I'll tell you right now.
Oh, and Jane Seymour. Jane Seymour was like a up-and-comer executive.
I am looking at the video from Green Acres. And I'm looking at this dude. I'm looking at his haircut. I'm looking at his suit that he's wearing while he's baling hay. But I'll tell you what I noticed. I could easily see a mason's apron on this guy. In other words, it's not there, but it looks like it should be. He looks like he is a brother in the Brotherhood. I wonder if he is. The only thing that's missing is the apron. He looks the part. Matter of fact, is he standing with his feet in a T shape? I don't know. What's he doing with his hand? Epic Journeyman. Is
Bobert around there?
Is Epic Journeyman and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it if he is a brother, but I'm just saying, is he a brother? I'm just because something about him is just saying to me, I'm a brother. You know, he's just there. What do you think? Give us a call. What's that number, Bruce?
864-810-1039.
864-810-1039. 864-810-1039. Shh. Don't tell nobody. Just give us a call. 864-810-1039. So, Epic Journeyman, it's been a long week this week, and there's been so many, we used to do a show every night, but now we just hear on Friday and Saturday nights. But the thing is so many things go by during the week that normally we would have taken a look at, But I mean, what has hit your radar this week?
Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are
Hey,
sit on
it. Sit on it. Sit on it.
That never caught on, right? They tried so hard to make that catch on. Up your nose like a rubber hose. That never caught on either, right? With John Travolta. Sometimes they try these things. It's like all the things they tried with Putin before the shirtless guy on the horse worked, right? All these memes that never worked. That's how far back it goes. It goes back a long way. It goes back to.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, man. The Fonz had a certain persona, didn't he? He's the Fonz.
Hey.
Hey. And he had the magic touch. He had the magic touch if something was broken or whatever.
And that worked, right? That worked. The A and the pound the jukebox worked.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, man, I don't know about you, but I'm going to ask you this question. The first time you heard Henry Winkler when he wasn't being Fonzie, what did you think?
Dude, hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Pardon my French. Oh, man. Yeah, dude, I cracked up. I was laughing my ass off. He was in Paris, getting one of those big loaf of bread things and a glass of wine or a bottle of wine to carry back to his flat somewhere in Paris. And he talked. I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" He had the whole the hat on, the whole 9 yards, man.
Don't you think? Don't you think there's been this systematic dismantling of the male masculine figure? Even, I mean, I know it's a minuscule microcosmic look, but I mean, realistically, hasn't it all been gay from day one? Like the Celtic Rebel said. The Celtic Rebel was ahead of his time, the most hated man in the alternative media, because he came out with the whole gay agenda idea and put it forward in a way that made people uncomfortable, because they had to start taking a look around and start realizing that dude swimming up to you in the pool and getting out with his, pecs, and gently drying himself.
Put those pecs away, bro.
You know what I mean? That was never for the girls, man. That was never for the women.
Yeah.
It was never put in there for women to enjoy. That was secretly
from the old 50s movies and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
When the guy goes swimming out and it poses. Yeah, exactly. Well, and which we're talking about those catchphrases that never caught on for us normal people. I think those were put in exactly like that. Is like the little
man. Let me just say, sit on it. I mean, that is a gay phrase.
Yeah, totally. It's like a Easter egg.
It's like a secret.
It's in there for the gay community, right? To make it worth watching for them, I guess. I don't know. I imagine so. Well, it cracks me up because these are things that would never catch on to anybody else. I wouldn't imagine, and it didn't. It didn't catch on.
No, they have these. There's these guys, and hey, listen. Let me just clarify this. This disclaimer. In no way what I'm saying is any negative feelings towards the gay agenda or the gay people in and of themselves. But what I have a problem with is this particular idea, because let's just put it forward. I mean, there's a lot of really super creative gay people, and they're back up in like, say, Metro Golden Mayer, for example. They're up in there.
No pun intended.
Yeah,
being back up in there.
And they're exactly, but they're up in there on their typewriters and they're writing stuff. And so, like we talked about with the walking around with no shirt on, who came up with that idea?
Who does that?
I'm just saying. Yeah. Who came up with that idea?
Some gay guy.
And then the thing exactly. is like, hey, if I want to make a sex symbol, they put on, what would a gay man like to see? There's all this homoerotica going on that most people aren't aware of. They think it's the other way around. It's just like when you hear in a music video or a song, and it sounds like a love song, It sounds like they're singing to a man or a woman or a significant other of some kind. But really they're not. They're actually singing to the devil himself. It's a love song, and if you really listen closely, you'll find that a lot of the lyrics that you thought were love songs were really, they were singing praise and love for the devil himself, ladies and gentlemen. But who came up with the idea of spandex on men? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Some gay guy.
Why?
You could just put that in the can and hit a button.
And you're slowly coaxing me along, getting me to look at a man's ass by having him have long hair. So when you're looking at him from across the room or down the street or whatever, from your perspective, if you're a man, it looks like a woman because you see long hair and you see an ass in some tight pants. So you were looking at the man's ass, and then all of a sudden he turns around and it's Vince Neil. Boom. Dude looks like a lady. You know what I'm saying?
So, listen. Having lived in a few cultures, I can tell you, women are attracted to prosperity. Okay?
Doesn't matter what your ass looks like in spandex.
Oh, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, man. You look like you have a little bit of money over here. Like you have a decent wristwatch, you dress well, and you have a dental plan. I mean, all those guys, like the businessmen and everything over here, they all have the big pot belly and everything. And I mean, they're like sex symbols. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when you got a pot belly and people are starving, you got a pot belly. You're like Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, it's big in Africa, tribal cultures. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that in general, that's true. Like the king was always kind of a big man, you know, back in the day.
Yeah,
I mean, literally.
Yeah. And when the girls go for like the rock star or something, that is a fulfillment of the material agenda. That's like women investing in crypto or something. I think his band's going to make it, right? You know,
but how does that translate? How does that translate into some dude putting on false eyelashes and mascara, wearing women's lingerie? Or, you know, on the opposite end of that spectrum, you see the sadomasochistic aspect of, say, like a Judas Priest, where the dude's got leather, he's wearing assless leather chaps, and he's got a spiked wristband on, he's got a leather collar with a ring in it. You know what I'm saying?
Totally not gay.
No, nothing gay about that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know. Well, for years, like when I was, you know, back in the 80s growing up, you know, nobody thought of those guys were gay. You know, that's how naive we were. That's what I'm saying. You know?
That's what I'm saying, because back then you didn't have gaydar. You didn't know about gay or whatever. You just thought they were flamboyant or whatever. It's like Liberace. Who knew Liberace was gay? Who knew?
Well, everybody knew Liberace.
I kind of clued in the 80s, man. You know, with Simon and Magnum PI with the spray painted on blue jeans. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
I know. Well, the thing is back then, I'm just saying, there wasn't. What was the name of that show where it was a couple of gay guys, 3 gay guys, and they would take and make somebody's husband or dad over?
Oh, yeah, I never actually saw
I know
the
it.
show,
It was
Queer
called
Eye for the straight guy, right?
For the straight guy.
Queer Eye.
Yeah,
for
it was like a huge hit. Apparently, yeah.
It was a huge hit.
I never understood that, but yeah.
It was a huge hit. And why? Because those guys had an eye for style. And, you know, what is the number one disposable income demographic in America?
Gay men.
Exactly.
Single gay man. Single gay man. Yeah. That's definitely got to be it.
And so the only thing in between selling stuff and customers is the disposable income. So why not create more disposable income by removing the shame factor? The shame factor. The shame factor that used to cause closet dwelling. No more closet dwelling. Just let it all hang out. Just come on out and let it ride, man. That's what, you know, sit on it, God damn it. That's what they're saying. And the
Sorry, I muted my laugh there.
LGBT.
It's a big difference between Freddie Mercury and Rock Hudson, right? Like to this day, Rock Hudson appeals to regular heterosexual men as a macho guy still. I mean, if you just watch his movies, you think, oh, he's this regular leading man, it's cool. And then when Freddie Mercury made that transition, wherever it was, somewhere around the time of the album we had Bohemian Rhapsody, right? It was that one where obviously, right? He flamboyantly goes out, in a real way. And the world wasn't really ready for it, just like when Elton John did it, right? Same way. I'm like, dude, what the hell? And I was a kid at the time. I'm like, I didn't understand what this was. It's like, what is this, man? These people are acting awful weird.
Listen,
like
I never. Well, growing up, when I would watch reruns of the Hollywood Squares, I never.
Paul Lynde, yeah.
I never realized Paul Lynde was gay. Like I'm saying.
Yeah, me neither. I had no clue, none whatsoever at the time.
Yeah, I just don't. The thing is, then all of a sudden, when you had the show, I'm saying this is where it was really. I mean, you had Ellen come out, okay, and then you had Queer Eye for the straight guy, and then all of a sudden, these gay characters started to appear. So anywhere where there's a group of people, like maybe there's 5 people on a sitcom or a TV show, if there's 5 people, one of those people is gay.
Well, there's a great example of like the straight female and the attraction principle. Ellen gets runway models because she fits the prosperity doctrine that women are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and she doesn't look bad in a pantsuit.
Well, back in the
she's
day,
got those lips or whatever. You know what I mean? And she knows how to dance too. That's a big one. And the thing is when you go to a gay club, a dance club or whatever, it's not all that pressure. You can just dance with another girl and not worry about it. And she's a really good dancer. And so, it's a few dance moves and a couple martinis, man. Next thing you know, Ellen, she takes no prisoners. That's what I hear.
Degenerate behavior, degenerates, right? It's all in the name,
what a coincidence! What a coincidence!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So who would surprise you? I guess would be a question.
There's no surprises. I'll tell you what.
Rock
really
Hudson surprised me a little bit when it happened. Like really.
I'll tell you what it was for me. I'll tell you what it was for me, because most of my life, in the media and across the plane, whenever someone was represented as a gay man or homosexual, they would always represent it with some sort of flamboyant, feminized character, so as to create this impression that every single person who's gay is feminized and flamboyant. So I'm not a part of the gay community. I've met quite a few gay people and had a lot of friends that were gay over my period of my lifespan. But it was this one night I was at this party, and when I was down in Los Angeles, and I was sitting there, and I was sitting out on the balcony of this house, and I was having a smoke, and this dude came out, and he was like standing there talking to me. And this dude was a good-looking dude. He's dressed nice. He's built and all this, and I'm standing there and this and that, and we're talking to each other. And it was in the minute I just came to this realization: this dude was gay, man, and he was hitting on me. And what's tripping me out was that there's no way that you would ever, looking at this dude, ever think anything other than he was just some dude who went to the gym. He's like a good-looking actor dude down in Los Angeles. There was no flamboyance or femininity about the dude. He's just a regular person, just a regular guy. It's like a guy next door. It's like Brokeback Mountain. You know what I'm saying?
Put on you.
Yeah. Well, no, he was a nice guy or whatever. I mean, but that kind of shit happens all the time down in Los Angeles, man. I mean, you don't know who's who or what's what.
No, that's true. I grew up in Southern California too, and I'll tell you, like the first time I got hit on like that, I was like, it surprised me, right? Because like you're saying, you're not expecting it.
No.
And it's just like you're like, oh. No, man.
Man.
You don't have to. You just kind of find an excuse to leave, kind of thing. You know, be polite, but and they're used to that. The people who are in that realm.
Well, the thing is,
that kind of
the
thing.
other
But
thing,
they put it out there, I guess, you know, because that's how they, you know, it's a different kind of way to hook up, you know, than we're used to accustomed to as heterosexual people. You know, it's different, you know. So they find they isolate you, I guess. That's what I picked up on this, no pun intended. And it's like, well, okay, they isolate you at a certain point, and they try to, you know, you're at ease in a moment, and they try to like put things out there to put feelers out. I guess.
Did you ever watch the show Californication?
Once or twice. It's a Showtime show, right? The guy from X-Files, Coveney, real life sex addict. Supposedly, that guy's totally gay.
Okay, let me just say this, man. There was a storyline. There was a storyline. There is a storyline in that show where his manager realizes that there's a gay mafia down in Hollywood, and so he decides he's going to pretend to be gay, and he starts pretending to be gay, and all of a sudden he gets into this. What did he get a job at an agency, like a really powerful agency, Bruce? And then he's like, he's not gay or whatever, but he's trying to play along with it. Yeah, that shit was funny, man. And you know what was even funnier is when I was watching it, it's exactly like Hollywood is. You know, you're not coming in the room unless you're willing to polish the doorknob, you know what I'm saying? Just like everybody cries about, you know, pound me too or whatever, or hashtag me too. You know, there's a whole male thing going on down in Hollywood. It's even worse than that. You know, even worse than that. Believe me.
Well, supposedly Errol Flynn was the first like flamboyant gay guy in Hollywood. You know, according to Hollywood Babylon, his other books,
really
written at the time, right? He was like the guy that was the, if true, right, by the allegations, was out there. You know, with all the heavy executives and all that.
They say that he had a cock like a hemp rope on a tall ship.
Right. It was like Tarzan swung by that thing. I know. Apparently, I mean,
I wonder if him and Milton Berle ever got together. What do you think?
Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you and love.
Listen to the microcosm. There's no top of the hour break, so we take a little music break now. This would be time to get something to drink. Before you do that, though, Bruce, give out that phone number one more time. Come back, we can take some calls.
864-810-1039.
Bruce, you're not shirtless, are you?
No.
Okay, good. Epic Journeyman, you got your shirt on, don't you?
I do. Shorts, too. That's important.
All right, and you don't have any weird colors in the wrong pocket in your jeans,
No, I don't have any red flags hanging out my right pocket or anything like that. Nope.
You got to be careful, man.
Dude, we did a whole show on that.
I know. You got the Hawaiian shirt?
No, I got rid of my pineapple shirt. Yeah, those are all gone.
Hey, from the musically incorrect LP, here's Bay Area Rockers Y&T.
Here
freeworld.fm. Revolution Radio. It's the Independent Broadcast Network. Down, boy, down! Pauline. She's no stranger to pain. She's got a couple of tattoos. Pauline. That's Little Barry. It's Revolution Radio, fully listener supported. Come on down, become a supporter patron right there on the top of the page. Check it out. Make it happen. Keep free speech alive. It's freeworld.fm. It's the Independent Broadcast Network. And sitting here with Rocker and Rio's not here tonight. Epic Journeyman's here. Bruce McDonald's here. You're here. We're all here. God damn it. I don't know. Feels like we're on the hot rails to hell. As Blue Oyster Cult so delicately put it so long ago. Back when they were soft white underbelly. They used to do club shows under the name Soft White Underbelly. Blue Oyster Cult, the cult of the Blue Oysters. We just thought it was a cliquey little weird band thing. Like Alice Cooper. We didn't realize. We didn't realize, Bruce. We didn't realize, Epic. They were evil. No, I realized they were evil at one point. Remember when that?
Yeah, me too.
Remember when that album came out? Black Blade was one of the songs on there. Black Blade. I literally
crushed your albums under
me
my
too,
foot on rocks,
dude.
man.
I did the same thing. I brought out the Blue Oyster Cult, and I smashed the record because I thought it was evil. Even back before I even knew what evil was.
It was like in 1978 or something, man, or 9 or somewhere in there. And you know, it was weird because I was stoned at the time, of course, right? Mm-hmm. And I realized, man, like, dude, this is evil. I mean, literally, this is a thought that came in my head. Like,
I know.
This isn't cool. This is evil.
No, it was evil.
And it's like I literally took it out and stamped it on the rocks, man, right then and there.
You know, that's... You know,
and I like the band, actually. It was just so ironic about this. There's things I really like about the band.
They got some great songs, man.
There's something about it. It's one member in particular, I think. It turned out it's one of the members, I forget his name, who wrote those songs that I thought was evil.
Eric Bloom.
And that's the guy, right? It's like you have to look at if that's the same guy I'm talking about. It probably is. And it's the lyrics and the way that he does the percussion in it. And it's like, dude, no, it's not cool.
No. Oh, hey, wait a minute. I think I hear somebody laughing. I hear someone laughing that doesn't have their mute button on. And it's Chris from the UK.
I snuck in the back door.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Left the back door open.
We were just talking about the gay agenda, and all of a sudden here comes Mr. Backdoor Man himself.
Yeah. Hey, soft white underbelly. That's that name came from one of Winston Churchill's speeches, right, in World War II, and then also with Blue Oyster Cult, Jimmy. That was the very first rock and roll show I went to see was Blue Oyster Cult, and this is when Joe Walsh was touring all by himself after he left James Gang, and Blue Oyster Cult drove up in their vans, right, and they were carrying their own equipment, and they had a few guys with them that helped them out, but it was the Pikes Peak Bus Rodeo in Colorado Springs, Colorado in the early 70s. I think it was like 72 or 73.
Mm-hmm.
And I had happened to run across some Clear Light that day, and me and my buddies went there, and we were able to. The stadium was all dirt, and then you had wooden stands. It was crazy.
You're not. I think. Commanders.
The Blue Oyster Cult. They think of Blue Oyster Cult as a group of aliens, right? Who assembled secretly to guide Earth's history. That's the kind of the thing about the name.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing about them is like their theme albums are really good. Like I always want to call it Agents of Destruction, but that was one of the ones that had the bad song on it, right? It cued me. And the other one was obviously one's got Godzilla Spectres. Right, those are all great songs. But there's like one or two songs on both those albums that is like, what? You listen to it, you can't reconcile it, man. Like if you're a stoner, like which I was at the time, and you listen to like I always had this thing when I was a stoner about albums or musicians and bands you could trust and ones you couldn't trust. And I put Blue Oyster Cult the one you couldn't trust one because that can, right? Because there's always a song in there like you're like, what? Like that? No. And I forget which one it was.
Well, lots of people. They were from Palm Springs too.
Yeah.
So
we knew right away that they were kind of the.
What is that? What is that sound?
For most of my friends and their conservative parents.
Is somebody texting somebody?
We went there because we knew that they were crazy.
What is that sound? I keep hearing some musical tones.
Beeping noise.
What is that?
It's a Windows. Right?
Not me.
Mute it up, son.
Yeah.
Mute up.
Yeah, it's a Windows stutter thing, right?
Hey, can I say something about Blue Oyster Cult?
Oh, wait a minute! I didn't know we had a caller.
You got two, Jimmy. You got 330, and you got Daryl from Arkansas.
All right, Daryl, stand by.
I'm actually interested in the Blue Oyster Cult conversation here because
me too. Stand by.
About them, man.
Stand by. Chris from the UK, mute your microphone when you're not talking. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I just did.
All right, thank you. All right, listen, Daryl from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The thing I remember most about Blue Oyster Cult is back when I was in the Army at Fort Benning, Georgia. And this was back in somewhere between 76 and 78. And they were coming into Columbus, Georgia, and they were going across the bridge that separated Phoenix, Alabama and Columbus, Georgia, across the Chattahoochee River. And one of their semis wrecked and went over the median, and I'll never forget because there was this car and it chopped the top and beheaded this girl in the car, and it went off into the river. And I remember they put out a reward because all their equipment went floating down the river, and that's back when they had the their laser light show back when their laser lights were strong before they made them reduce the powerfulness of their beams.
Well, they did shine some beams, especially during the astronomy segment of the show.
Astronomy demeans Celestial Queen. Yeah, you know, the thing about that is my dad went off that same bridge in a storm, in a hurricane, and went in the river.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah. And he was in the river for hours, and he ended up getting this fungus in his lungs that plagued him for years. So it's an interesting tie-in there, actually. not that it relates to anything, just interesting tie-in.
Lung
I used to have a
fungus.
raft on the Chattahoochee River.
Lung fungus. Hey, take a look. Citric acid. Citric acid is everywhere. Citric acid. Black mold. Look into it. Look into it. All right, Daryl. Stand by. Put yourself on mute. Put yourself on standby. We're going to 330. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Jim. Hi, guys.
Hey, what's going on, Trish?
I called for your previous segment. I was laughing about what y'all was saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't really have a,
it doesn't.
Blue Oyster Cult.
That's all right. Forget Blue Oyster Cult. Go back to what we were talking about. Blue Oyster Cult's a red herring. Watch out.
About alternative lifestyles.
Yeah.
When and what you were saying about being on a balcony and this dude just comes up and you're like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah. I was just being, I'm just normal. I just, I'm a friendly person. You know what I mean? But my guard wasn't up,
Guys always think that, I guess guys think that they can tell right off the bat, they can pick out what another guy is. Well, it reminded me of when my husband at the time and I went on vacation in Florida, and I wanted to go to Key West to Hemingway's house in Southernmost Point and check out Key West. So we went down to Key West. We were staying a couple nights down there, and we were having lunch at this restaurant down on Duval, and this club across the street started playing disco music. They opened up and they started playing disco music, and I like disco music. So my husband's like, "Hey, after lunch, you want to go have a drink over there?" I'm like, "That's a gay bar, Bob.
Yeah.
It's called Divas. It's a gay bar." He's like, I don't think there's anybody in there. We'll just go have a drink. I know you like this music. I'm like, all right, that's cool, So we finish lunch. We go over there, and there's nobody in the bar except the bartender that we could see. We go up to the bar. We get a Coke. We're sitting there, and they're playing disco. And I kind of look over, and there's actually two guys in a booth kind of having a romantic moment. My husband turns around, and he looks, and he's like, okay. I go, you want to leave? He goes, no, it's all right. I got my back to him,
Yeah.
We're sitting there.
Watch out, man. You don't want to have your back to him, but go ahead.
So the bartender is a real handsome, good-looking kid. He's, maybe 22, 23, beautiful Italian-looking guy, young, like college kid.
Moda Italian.
And so my husband says, he says to me, he goes, yeah, that kid ain't gay. I said, how do you know? He goes, nah, he ain't gay. He's making a lot of money here, but he ain't gay.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay. Because he was, he looked real straight, college boy,
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, we talked about Studio 54 and the cameras under the tables. And
God,
what was the guy?
I can imagine.
Yeah, what was the guy?
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin was a busboy over there. And what are you thinking? You're in your 20s and you're just under the table slobbing on the knob for $500, and you're just thinking, nobody will ever know, And then all of a sudden, somebody starts making some documentaries about pedophilia and child trafficking, and they call you up and they say, "Hey, man, remember that night you were under the table at Studio 54 slobbing on that knob? Well, guess what? We got video of that."
Oh my God!
And this was the song that was on the disco train that night.
You know, that reminds me of, you know, back in the day when kids put mirrors on the tip of their shoes.
Were you in the Navy, Daryl? I know Bruce. I know Bruce was in the Navy. You know, I've heard a really disgusting joke about being a fresh fish in the Navy and the gun turret and the inserting of the member into the hole of the gun turret and receiving fellatio, kind of like a glory hole. And the guy was told that he could go up to that hole for 29 days, but on the 30th day he had to be inside the gun turret. He was in the Navy. I don't know.
Hey, Jimmy, I don't think Epic would agree with me. I think he would agree with me. You know, I spent a lot of time on the aircraft carrier, and he spent a lot of time in the submarine. We did not play that song on board.
No.
This is just not played.
No, I'm sure it wasn't.
There's a Mandela effect about that band, you know. I don't need to bring this up. There's you know, that song in the Navy. There's a guy in a Navy outfit when they sing that song. It's a famous video. Everybody remembers. That does not exist. The Village People does not have a Navy guy in it. It has an Army guy in it.
Really?
And it not only that, there's 5 people instead of 4 people. Well, people only remember the 4 people. They don't remember the 5th one. The 5th one was an Army guy.
My conspiracy
so people are thinking about the Village People, flashback in your head, your memories about it. You have the guy with the Indian headdress. You have the guy with the construction hat. You have, you know.
Well, I just saw in my choices of videos. In my, hey,
way too much.
Mandela effect for me. I moderate that. So
in my choice,
exactly, Mandela effect. How do we know what is real? You know,
in my choice of videos to play for the audio, there, one of the videos in my selection was a member, and it was the official video. It was a member of the Village People standing in dress blues with a white hat. So no, did they just? Was that like a costume change? You think just for that song? Like they didn't have a Navy guy.
Yes, I think that's just a costume change. The Army guy making it for that video or whatever, right? But no, nobody's been able to find evidence that ever existing. That does not exist.
Well, listen,
it's only the guy in the Army outfit.
Since we're talking about this, okay, so like I was saying earlier, for women when they used to go out. There's all these, wherever they would go, there'd just be all these single men just hanging there, just hassling them and bothering them all night. So eventually they got sick of it and they realized they could go down to the lesbian club and dance or go down to the gay club and dance and not have a bunch of people hitting on them. They could just have a good time. They didn't have to dance with someone. They could just go out and dance in a group or whatever. You know,
video games, yeah.
Right.
So the
thing is there's this migration of beautiful women because it was always the really good-looking women that went to the gay clubs because they're always the ones that would get hit on at the regular bars. And they're sick and tired of these dudes, you know, grubbing on them, you know, and trying to buy them drinks and, you know, saying stupid shit. Are those real? Are those real? You know, so they left and they went over to the gay bars. Well, let me just say, there's a song by the Fun Loving Criminals. And it's basically the song is he met the finest girl of his life at gay night. Because the hipsters, then the people that were on to the pulse of where the beautiful women were, well, they were over at the gay clubs too. And then all of a sudden all these gay clubs became popular and, you know, because the idea of being gay is having a good time, you know? Wasn't there like good times, just sweaty good times going on all over the place at gay clubs? And then heterosexuals were slowly introduced by using, now see, I bring up the beautiful women aspect of moving heterosexual men into the gay clubs. because it's a method that's been tried and true. You know what I mean? So wherever the beautiful women are, men will follow. So, for example, I used to be a promotional director for a club in San Jose called Sunset Bar and Grill. And the owners of that club, they owned a white super stretch limousine. And so there's a bunch of popular clubs all over San Jose. And this is in the day when clubs were making shitloads of money. There was lines out the door for clubs, people getting drunk and having a good time back in the day. So what they did is they had this white super stretch, and old Jimmy would drive the super stretch while the 4 young coke dealer owners of this nightclub would drive around to all the other nightclubs, walk right to the front of the line, get in free, and then walk around in there and pass drink tickets out to all the most beautiful women in the club. And so subsequently what would happen is we'd also fill the limo with as many of those women as we could. And then we'd drive them back to our new club where if you just happen to walk up and see it, you wouldn't believe it. It'd be like you were in a sanctuary where there was just beautiful women walking around all peaceful because they were in the majority at the bar. And within 3 months, that bar was packed, Jack. You couldn't get in. And then it just fed on itself. But see, the originals were plants. The originals were plants. Just like sleeves on beautiful model-like women. Full tattoo sleeves. In the beginning when it first started out. It rolled out in Hollywood, man. It rolled out in Hollywood, all the clubs. You go into these clubs and you see these women with these sleeves. You're like, damn. Because back then, no one even had tattoos. You know what I mean? It was something that stood out. It was super unique. You know, but then you got the sleeve, and then the next thing you knew, everybody had a sleeve. So then you had to get another sleeve on the other arm. And then the next thing you knew, everybody had 2 sleeves. Pretty soon, it's like the Illustrated Man.
Ray Bradbury is writing a story about you. Right.
So back in the day, if you had a tattoo, you were a rebel. Now, if you don't have a tattoo, you're a rebel, man. Because everybody's got a tattoo. Like I was at the beach the other day.
I'm a rebel, man. No tattoos.
You got tattoo?
No tattoos.
No tattoos.
No tattoos.
No tattoo here.
Me neither. No tattoos. But you're no stranger to pain, are you, Bruce? Bruce has a tattoo. You got a tattoo, Bruce?
I got one tattoo.
Yeah, okay. Bruce is no stranger to pain. But, you know, the thing is, like I was saying, I was at the beach the other day, and I see this lady, okay? She's walking. She's got, her arms are hanging like curtains, okay? This is flat. She's an older woman. She's got like a brand new tattoo. Only there isn't even anything new about it. But the only thing is it's a new tattoo, but it looks like an old green prison tattoo. Like it was a fresh tattoo. And I'm thinking to myself, what, you went through all your whole life and now you're getting this tattoo? Is it like a thing? You know, is it like a what is it, Bruce? What is the idea behind it? Besides, it's like it makes you unique, or I mean,
I got mine in 1992, 2 weeks after I graduated from university, and I can only speak for mine, and it represents my flight from institutional learning. I'll never go back for graduate studies, and that's it. I got one tattoo on my left shoulder, very traditional.
You don't have,
but it's huge too now, man. Like.
What about?
Man, I got some of my nieces and nephews. My stepson, my wife's son, has like half his face is tattooed.
Well,
all right, he's got the full sleeve on one arm.
Roger Stone has a tramp stamp of Nixon on his back. You know, I was wondering why you would get that tattoo. It must be somebody looking down at it. I don't know.
Well,
it's disgusting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm someone else that does not have a tattoo.
Well, listen, if you ever, Daryl, if you ever rob a bank, make sure you get a bunch of rub-on tattoos. So when they describe you, they'll say he had a tattoo of Popeye on one arm and an anchor on the other arm, and then
huge olive oil on his nose. Yeah,
yeah. So then you won't have any.
The one thing I did do in my youth, back in my crazy days, is me and my friend were, we thought tattoos were cool, and so I took a razor blade and carved a cross in my arm.
Well, Daryl, I think you took it a little too far. I'll tell you this, though.
No, I mean, if I had a little ink, man, it'd still be there,
I had a friend down in Los Angeles when I was living down there, and she was meeting her boyfriend. She has a new boyfriend, and he was a frat member from USC, and he was a brother of color. All right? He comes over there, and he meets up with her, and they're sitting there talking, and he just got back from, literally, I shit you not, and this is the reason I'm telling you this. He just got back from being branded. Literally, he had a brand on his forearm for his frat. Yeah, no, and literally, it's like Kung Fu. When he has to grab and pick up that giant hibachi with the dragons on the side.
Right.
Yeah. It's that same kind of thing. People are into that shit, man. The branding. Have you seen it? The branding?
No. In Kung Fu. Yeah, no, in the, what is it? Invium, I pronounce it cult, right? How do you pronounce that? NVI, whatever. They finally prosecuted those people that were running that thing. But, they branded all those girls.
Yeah, well, the thing is when you got that brand, your master was watching your face to see if you showed any signs of pain.
You mean soon to be living the rest of your miserable life in agonizing pain, rapist?
I'm talking about the Kung Fu scenario.
Well, I'm talking about the Pulp Fiction scenario.
They both work. Like the thing is, how the person responds to it was the whole point of the Kwai Chang Kang thing, right? It wasn't just a brand.
Yeah, that was a real thing with the Shaolins. Chris, do we have to put a GoFundMe together to get you some heating in there? What's going on?
Give me a break.
You look like Indiana Jones in a winter climate.
He is.
It's right now. It's 18 degrees in here, and it's that's Celsius because I'm in Europe. But it's 54 degrees outside.
It's 18 degrees. Start a GoFundMe.
With my peripheral arterial disease, Bruce, I get cold a lot, and I have to stay warm all the time. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood.
Got to stay warm, dude.
But yeah, we can get a GoFundMe account. I'll buy a heater.
I just thought you were trying to control your devices up to the temperature like a data center,
All right, Daryl. Anything else?
Yeah, 49 here.
Anything else, Daryl?
Fahrenheit.
Daryl, anything else?
The main reason I called in is you were talking about earlier on, and I wrote the notes down just to make sure I did not forget.
Excellent. It's good to take notes when Into the Microcosm is on, and I said that at the beginning, the posers and wannabes to get out the notepad. So I'm glad you got out your notepad.
Yeah, because I have a forgetful memory.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, you were all talking about these new devices and stuff, and all this kind of shit. Mm-hmm. And what I wanted to mention is that shit's been going on for a long time. Okay, like you'll remember about the back when this is where the shit went wrong. I don't want to say this is where the shit went wrong. This is where the shit went evil. Is back when they switched from analog to digital. Remember the converters? The converters that the government sponsored and put out these coupons and gave them to everybody, and you could go to the store and use these coupons to get a free converter to convert your analog TV into digital. Remember that shit?
I wrote all about it. Yeah.
Daryl.
The analog.
Yeah.
Quit saying shit all the time.
standards. Yep.
Don't say
Okay.
shit.
No, that's true.
Here's
2008,
something,
2009. Yep.
No, I mean
Yeah.
that was a moment, Daryl. That was a very
No,
important.
it was.
Well,
The transition to. Go ahead.
the thing about that is, I took electronics in school and stuff, right? And so I know, like here in the United States, it's the electricity in the outlet is 110 volts, right? But in actuality, okay, it's alternating current, so it goes actually to 170 volts plus, then drops down to 0, and then goes to a minus 170 volts, and does that 60 times a second. Well, the thing is during where it goes through that 0 point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like you've seen these things you can get for a very long time now, where you can plug it into outlet, a Wi-Fi booster, and then plug it into another room in the house, and that's how those work, right? Because the thing is don't you think that if they had that technology way back then, and now they got these smart TVs and shit, don't you think they can send those waves through that 0 point of time that can affect your brain? Over.
Daryl, is this the first time you've ever listened to this show?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to
We've
laugh.
been talking about that for
true.
the last
We've been
10
talking about
years.
that for years. Yeah.
We've been talking
Yeah,
about
literally.
it since when we said social engineering. Nobody even knew what the F we were talking about. It's just
But
like
that's a valid point. It's just that it's true. Like we've been talking about this really for.
No, listen, Daryl.
As long as I remember.
Daryl, are you?
Yeah, the wild thing about that is they do a piggyback wave on top of that.
That's right.
The Fourier wave. That's old school electronics. So our deep state government has had a long time ago. They had a 50-year advance. So now it's probably 1,000-year advance. So who knows what kind of shit they got going on now?
Who knows? Thanks for calling, Daryl. There he goes, Daryl. So, Trish, I see you there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you so patiently have waited out the whole Daryl episode. Thanks for calling, Daryl. We appreciate you, bro. But anyway, there's Bruce, will you give out the number before we hear from Trish?
864-810-1039.
864-810-1039. 864-810-1039. Give us a call. We only got about 30 minutes left, so join the conversation. Trish, since last week, what's been on your radar? So, you're not connected with the show in any way, so you're not influenced by anything that we've, sent to each other. What's been on your radar?
Well, just it seems I spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, as opposed to say Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the social media that I go to.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like there was a lot of inorganic, anti-Semitic. Yeah, thank you. Couldn't get that out.
Inorganic, and you mean so there's these, there are social influencers out there specifically targeting and trying to trigger groups of people?
Yeah. It didn't feel... I mean, yes, there's regular people that are, saying things like they usually do, but it just seemed really fake. It seemed scripted. The influencers that were speaking out about it, it just seemed real. And the little feuds that they were having back and forth, it just all seemed so scripted.
Yes. Yes, I'm going to comment. I'm going to weigh in here because I just came back to Twitter. I just came back to Twitter recently after months, and always I came back to the fires in Hawaii. I'd given up Twitter for a year. And it's totally Nazified, and I mean that, like literally Nazified, right? And the whole thing is there's all these false scripts going on now. Way more. Supposedly, Elon Musk will get rid of all these bots, right? All these Russian bots, all these troll bots, all these inorganic things were made and scripted, like you're describing. He's going to take care of that. And quite the contrary. What I'm observing is it's nothing but that. And particularly what you're describing there, Trish, is exactly right. There's a whole bunch of these fake conversations, and that's the only way I can describe them. They're fake. They're totally fake. Like they're pre-scripted from the get-go. They put them out there, and you're supposed to join in, and to get it's all about nudging you, your behavior, getting your likes, dislikes, but it's all about getting your attention, right? It's all about that. And the thing is that it's not real. It's obviously not real. I mean, when I'm hearing you say you describe what I'm seeing. It's the same thing. Like especially with this thing, like just recently, this whole thing with the Israel and Gaza, it's just blown up in a way that it's always been there, like underneath, but now it's like overt. And when you follow the thread, it's ridiculously scripted to me. My perception of it's ridiculously scripted. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, and I mean the lingo they use is the current thing. It jumps from the mandate to Ukraine to now either Israel or a Palestine flag in the bio. I support, X, whatever. And, you got different groups on either side. And, I don't know, it just does seem really, like they're really trying to make that the conversation. Now, I'm not saying
it's inorganic, right? Am I using the right term? Inorganic, is that the right term? That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
like it's inorganic. It's not. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, obviously, yes, people are talking about it because there's a war going on there, and there's a lot of people dying, which is horrible. And so yes, that's a natural conversation. People are gonna, talk about that. But and another thing they're trying to, there's a few influencers like praising Elon Musk for speaking up and against the anti-whiteness, which has been, I guess, a topic of the left constantly in colleges and whatnot. White people are bad and everybody that's white is racist. That's kind of like what they say all the time, or have been for a decade or so. And so, he's kind of supposedly he has spoken up and, taken the side of the white man, so to speak, and has called out the ADL and, saying, hey, you guys weren't worried, some Jewish communities, different organizations or groups, because not all Jewish people believe one thing. Some Jewish people have one opinion on what's going on in Israel, and some Jewish people have the opposite opinion. They're kind of on both sides, because there's Jewish people saying stop, they want a ceasefire, and then there's other Jewish people saying, no, we have to continue until Hamas is all gone. So they're kind of on both sides of the fence. And so he was saying that, the people that are saying there's so much anti-Semitic, I don't know why I can't say
anti-Semitism. Yeah, right.
But you guys you're worried about it now, but in the colleges, because all of these billionaires are pulling money from colleges because of the pro-Palestinian protest, Jewish billionaires, millionaires, or people, just philanthropists are pulling their money from these colleges. Well, you guys weren't worried about racism when they've been attacking. So they've kind of made him like the spokesman or the champion. It just seems so fake. Do you know what I mean? It just seems all...
Well, I think you're right. It does seem convoluted. I mean, and just my opinion. I'm going to
They're
weigh in a
really
little bit
trying
here.
to make
Yeah.
a conversation. I mean, yes. I mean, the war is fine to have a conversation. You can have different opinions on it. Whatever. It is a topic. It's in the news. People are also talking about a draft. To me, I just feel like something's coming. They're also talking about what you guys were talking about earlier, about this operation, catastrophe. That's been something that's gone around for a while.
That's
gonna
totally
be,
fake. Completely. 100%.
Before it was Ukraine and Russia broke out, it was they were going to do false flags and blame it on Russia. And then there was going to be a draft. Now they're going to do false flags, blame it on Islam, and have a draft. They keep talking about the draft.
You know what I think you're hitting on, and me and Jimmy talked about it before and kind of alluded to it, but we've never done a show on it, and I think it almost merits it, is Elon Musk is being set up, whether correctly or not, is to be the bad guy character from the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. If you remember, in the movie Contact, the aliens send this thing. It turns out to be in 3D. It's to build this device. They build the device. She free falls. Everybody else just sees her free fall, but she has this experience in space and space time and all that stuff, right? And they go back and they have this congressional hearing, and it's like the richest man in the world was a guy trying to influence politics by doing this in the first place, right? That's Elon Musk. If you watch that movie again with the eye towards it being Elon Musk, that's exactly what this is. We should probably do a show on this because it's exactly right. Like,
let's do a show on it tomorrow night, man. Because we're coming back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Pacific.
Oh wait, I can't. I'm traveling tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
America.
All right, we'll do it next. Let's do it next. Let's do it next Friday night. A segment. So,
all right, yeah.
I think Rio's traveling. I think Rio is traveling too.
It's shit. I mean, there's a whole thing about this, and the fact that history not only repeats itself, but sometimes it's predicted.
Now that you said it, though, and there's a week between now and then. Now that you said it, there's like 9 guys are going to do podcasts about it.
Yeah, they're going to, aren't they?
They are.
They totally are.
They're already on it right now.
They're on it right now on their keyboards, researching movie Contact.
They're all
1992, whatever, right?
Checking Netflix for the movie Contact.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is it, dude. I'm telling you that this is exactly Elon Musk right now.
You just said, things are like predicted, but I don't really, I used to think that way too.
It's not predestination.
I
don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
Scripted. It's been scripted. We've already seen this movie. And so they call it they keep saying, oh, the Simpsons predicted this, the cartoon show. I don't think anything was ever predicted or were pre-programmed. I mean, some people have the idea that it's a collective voodoo, and we all think about it, and then it happens. I mean, it's a possibility. I think more of these things are pre-planned, decades. The big storyline is a century old, and then as they go on, it's decade by decade.
The thing about Simpsons,
George Bush wasn't George Sr. was. I mean, he's the first one that I recall talking about. New World Order. And now that's just common knowledge. I mean, that's just a common term.
I want to bounce back to the Simpsons predicting the future. Now, the thing about it is, are they actually predicting the future, or when you take an episode out of the context of time, these subjects are being talked about everywhere when these writers are writing for their episodes. So the news at the time that these episodes are written is what's influencing the comedy that exists in the show. But if I watch that same show years later and I relate it to something that's going on now, it looks like I was predicting the future because it's somehow resonating with whatever going on. But you take it out of context because it's just like the comedians on late night. when they would do their stand-up monologues. Their monologues are all about whatever the news is of the day. That's the news, the common news that people are watching TV, like The Simpsons. The common shit that they're seeing on the news is the stuff that they write about because they want that to be funny. So are they predicting the future? Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to give you the trippiest Simpsons thing ever, in my opinion. Right? I'm biased, of course, but the trippiest Simpsons thing ever is they did a whole episode where what's the baby's name? I forget her name. There's Lisa and the baby Maggie, and Maggie's getting all the attention, and she gets like one of those computer things, like a speak and spell, and she types everything, right? And she starts speaking through that. Aren't you the smart one? All that stuff, right? And so Lisa has this dream where it's whatever happened to Baby Jane with Betty Davis and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where she pushes her down the stairs in the wheelchair. And who's the smart one now? And she pushes her down the stairs from whatever happened to Baby Jane, right? This famous scene from whatever happened to Baby Jane. That scene doesn't exist. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. It never happened. And yet it's a huge Mandela effect. People remember this. If you've seen the movie, whatever happened to Baby Jane, you probably remember this scene. And there's no such scene. So that is one of the trippiest things ever from The Simpsons, right? How do they know this? How do they have this? How do they play it particularly out in exactly this dramatic style that people remember? And it does not exist.
Hey, listen. So Chicago Brew messaged back earlier, and I didn't hear it, but he was saying Eddie Albert, not Eddie Arnold, and he also said, Bruce, they're preparing the West Coast for Chinese replacement population.
All right.
Did Bruce get caught in Kanye's fly trap? Hey, speaking of fly traps, did you see this shit in Las Vegas where a kid at a high school was being bullied by some kids of color? And these kids of color, the kid that stood up for the other kids, they beat him to death.
Yeah,
that was horrible.
They literally beat.
Yeah,
they beat him to death. Harry, are you there? I think Harry's calling in. Harry, are you calling in?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Harry the Boosker, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening, man?
Yeah.
How's it going?
I was just listening to your conversation.
What do you think? Good. You got something to add? Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, well, I hope you guys, I'm sure, Bruce, you've heard of Peter Lavender.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he grew up in the Bronx and was introduced to the American Orthodox Church at the age of 17 or something. He was helping out.
Uh-huh.
Turns out Guy Bannister. Now, everyone should remember that name.
Yeah.
With JFK and all that sort of stuff.
Bannister. Is he the guy? Is he the
New Orleans Connection? Also, New Orleans Connection did a show on that. Yep.
All
right, now listen. Is Bannister? Is this the same Bannister that worked for the IRS that has a show where he talks about how to work yourself around the taxes? Is that the same Bannister? No, that's a different guy. All right. Okay. So Bannister, go ahead.
Yeah, so Bannister, linked to the who was it? Jim? What's his name? Did the commission investigation of the FBI about the murder of JFK. He was on his hit list, Anyway, it turns out that 20 years before that, young fellow Peter Lavender, walked into was involved with this church called the American Orthodox Church of America. And it's the front.
Peter Lavinda. Yeah, Peter Lavinda. Yep.
Yeah. It's a front, basically. I've just put the link in there of his talk at a conference somewhere, 10 or 11 years ago. And he basically outlines the facts that, they got as we all know, the Nazis came over here, but they also went all over the world, scientists and stuff. And these weren't the top grade ones. Of course, they disappeared somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But they were left... And the struggle was between the Russians and mainly and the Americans to get the best scientists and stuff, and that's how they dumped it into the space program through the military, then put it out to NASA.
Mm-hmm.
But the story is, as you've probably heard, the cantankerousness of these elite German, Thulists, or whatever you want to call them, who believed in who never shook their philosophy or belief system. They thwarted the program basically because Sputnik went up before America did. So he outlines that whole story, but it also links in the American Catholic Church, Orthodox Catholic Church, which is the front, and it's very fascinating to hear all this information as he outlines it. But I'm sure everyone's now mentioned those few things. You're aware of that situation, and this is what's running the show basically at the moment. Is this Nazi Zionist twist to keep everyone, spinning on their heels, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's a thing goes on when in society, and so the thing is that once you get somebody used to something, you know what I mean? You slowly bring them around, and you slowly when something used to be violent, then after a while it just wasn't violent enough, so it had to be even more violent.
Moving the Overton window.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. So this same thing with this concept or this term Nazi, for example. I mean, over the years, this has been a rag doll that has been used over and over and over again, and every single time somebody comes along, the minute they come along, the first thing that people say about him is Hitler. It's like this. It's like if you're Bruce McDonald and you want to go start a really cool, permaculture existence on a mountain somewhere, and you want to invite people to maybe come up there and take part in it. First thing someone's going to say, instead of looking about how beautiful that might be or how cool it might be, the first thing someone's going to say is Jim Jones. Jim Jones, Jim Jones,
right.
Jim Jones. And that's the first thing people use as a rag doll to dissuade anybody from listening to somebody, is to say they're a Hitler. Because Hitler had a way of sort of magically overtaking his crowd with his pattern of speech and his delivery of his message. But I think younger people are just like, listen, man, Led Zeppelin is oldies to younger people, man. Nobody wears Levi's anymore, okay? If you're wearing Levi's, you're on your way out, Jack. Get ready for, the moment
You're
of
working in
truth.
the coal mine.
That's right. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the shock value of Hitler doesn't strike as mean a tempo as it used to in the old days. So the younger people aren't buying it. And what they're buying into is this idea that it's the opposite. That what's going on in Gaza is exactly the kind of behavior that people usually throw onto a Hitler-type figure or some sort of atrocities. And so you're finding the younger people are now all coming out to support this Hamas idea. And that's why there's so much traction being put on this Operation Catastrophe thing. It's because people...
It's bad parent.
Exactly.
I mean, it really is. People don't learn anything because their parents don't teach them, the schools don't teach them. I mean, it's bottom line, that's what it is. People are stupid.
Look, I must confess, I'm a Zionist. As in, I look at it in a different way, though. I look at it as Z-ion. Okay, Alpha Omega, the beginning and the end. Z in the alphabet represents a transition between one level to another. But if you do it backwards, it's going up, right? And the ion is the ayin in Hebrew, which is the primordial light, or the eye. And so when I talk about Zion, it's the Zion of the ion. Okay, it's about us harnessing the energy in the right way.
So how much does this tie into ancient Hebrew Kabbalism and Kabbalistic Babylonian actually magic in a way? Because that's what that is. It goes back to Sumer or even before that. The idea of the stones and the idea of the energetic stones and the idea of the other world contacting our world through those mediums. The mediums wasn't a person; it was actually objects, and then these objects were giving a message, most like digital code, to the person who interpreted them.
Well, stone is relevant for everything in bringing forward the other dimensional realms or the other entities in the other dimensions. You've got scryers that look into polished black. What's that word?
Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah. So it's you've got the crystalline technology that we're all humming off at the moment. It's been utilized in ways that represent a harnessing of energy or a tapping in of energy. But also, too, I've noticed on my travels, just traveling around, living life in different places, that certain places have a vibe about them when you go into them, like a spooky vibe or an eerie vibe or a nice vibe,
Mm-hmm.
And it's generally down to the rocks in the region, because these places have caves, or, for example, Picnic Hanging Rock have a portal, going to another world. And this is known by people who...
Well, what about bodies of water? We've been wanting to do a show on this now because I think bodies of water are important, and I think water exists at different frequency points. And so there is something that's, known as the fountain of youth. And we're spewing forth like the fountain of youth right here on Revolution Radio, fully listener supported. Come on down, become supporters. Do that so free speech can reign. 48 hours a day, Studio A, Studio B. Come on down, become supporters. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Pacific, freeworld.fm, independent broadcast network. It's been Into the Microcosm. Bruce McDonald, Epic Journeyman, Harry. It's time to GTFO, man. All right. We appreciate you spending your borrowed time with us. Tomorrow night, 7 Pacific. We'll see you then. Good night.
It was spectacular, so beautiful.
We're going to heaven.
Talking about it gets your 10 from me, that's for sure.
Look it out.
Tonight, on a night, something you never forget. crash and burn. And there is a way of beauty, but you never get love. Cross the line with none return. I watched my television, almost lost my mind. It said, open your eyes, beware of the eye. I am the wind to whispering, some magic coming out. It's coming off the shore. Come see your children, yeah, they're lighting up the skies. Won't recognize them anymore.
All right, then. We're off the freeworld.fm. Goodbye to Revolution Radio. We're here on Independent Broadcast Network. About to say goodnight. Good night, Independent Broadcast Network. There they go. Independent Broadcast Network is gone. The only thing left is YouTube. So I want to say, hey, what's up to YouTubes? What's you guys doing? Still 50 people hanging over here. Not bad. Thanks for being here. All right, Matt. We're going to see you later. I just also want to get out of here. Epic Journeyman, are you ready?
Yeah, ready. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we'll see you. And safe travels, bro. See you tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, got to fly in the morning.
Take care.